The Frames Per Second podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Frames Per Second podcast. I'm your host for the evening. My name is Mike. With me, I have Nick.
What's going on?
I have Jalen.
Yep.
You're kind of low, Jalen. I also have Ken.
Hola.
And we are here to talk about Andor. We're talking about season 2, episodes 7, 8, and 9. So, round the horn. Quick reactions, Nick.
I want to say that this, I'm not trying to be just, a hot take Johnny, but this may be like the best thing Star Wars has ever done. And that's what I'm saying. Like I this is at least top 3 to me. This is at least top 3, just based off of where they're going and how they're telling the story. I don't think a story has ever been told this well before. And I watched I watched Star Wars, so I ain't just some random goofy nigga saying that. I'm not into the lore and the side shit like you, Mike. So I will give the audience that kind of background. But I've watched enough to say I haven't seen Star Wars tell a story like this in a cinematic kind of television, even movie way before. So that's all I'm gonna say. I'll say all that to say I like the 3 episodes.
All right, Ken.
These latest batch of episodes were fucking great. I think it was a good setup episode, and 2 and 8 and 9 were just great, man. This shit was fucking amazing to me.
And you feel the same way, Jalen?
Yeah, man. My mic sound all right now?
It's still a teeny bit low, but it sounds okay.
Okay.
Or maybe you just need to lean into it. Put your mouth on it. Don't be scared of it, Jalen.
I was gonna say, bro. Hey, don't be scared, nigga.
Don't be scared, bro.
Whatever. But yeah, man. This is great, and for it to be such a great show, and you know where everyone's going to end up at, when everything's going to happen, and to be captivated and still on the edge of your seat while watching it says a lot to the writing, to the acting, to just the overall show. So I get Nick what he's saying, like I ain't hearing really trying to jump off the ledge, but I get why you feel that way, because you know every beat to come, but you're still so invested in the show, which is a strong testament to what they did behind the scenes.
Yeah, I was laughing just because it's Nick, but I don't think that's a crazy take. I don't think it's the best thing that Star Wars has ever done, but I don't think your take is crazy. This is absolutely top 3 best stuff that Star Wars has put out, and I agree with you 100%, Nick. They have not told a story like this, not in this way, not this detailed, and yeah, man, this is just. Whenever I'm watching this, I keep waiting for it to get bad. Because I'm just like, how do you keep putting out episodes that are just better and better and better and better? But I think they're doing it, man. I think they're really fucking killing it.
And I think it's because the batch way of their release and how much time you get with these characters in each batch is almost genius level. Like they figured out the perfect marriage between binge and weekly episodes. Like, because somebody mentioned, there's a filler episode in here or a setup episode, but because you get the 2 in the back end, it leads into it. You don't have to wait a whole week. You got it right there. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know it's top 3. It got to be top. I can argue with anybody at top 3, but I'm trying to find a similar story that captivated me like this with these characters, with a character or characters like this. In a movie length time, because that's how these batches are releasing. It's like movie length time.
I have a question, especially what you mentioned in like the movie length. Are y'all watching all 3 at the same time, or are y'all like taking breaks in between? Because to me, I tell myself I'm gonna watch one, go do some stuff to cause I need other stuff that needs to be done, but I end up just sitting there going through all 3 like it's a film. So I'm just curious how everyone else's viewing experience just looks right now.
I watch all 3 if I can.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. If I can, I try to watch all 3. Um, well, she might see this. My girl stays over on Tuesdays. She does not watch Andor, so I'll try to get up early on Wednesday morning and come in here and watch it. But I can usually only watch one episode before she wakes up, and then if she comes in, I'm turning it off because I just don't.
Did you even try? Did you even try? Or you
I
just
did,
gave, you just give? You did.
I did. I told her to watch it. I feel like she would like it, but she doesn't like dramas and anything that's dramatic. She's like, I can't do it. So she only saw 2 episodes, and she hasn't. And I even no, actually, it wasn't y'all. My boy Adon was like, tell her that you have to watch it in 3 episode arcs because it's the same way with season 1, which I didn't realize until I rewatched it. But it's 3 episode arcs, so you have to watch it in those chunks. I told her, and I don't know if she's tried again. So
damn, because I'm curious of like, is this a great introduction to Star Wars?
no,
Like if no one knew nothing about it, could you put them onto this show and be like, all right, they'll get it? You know what I'm saying?
Not to Star Wars, but it's still a great show you can understand without having all the background to Star Wars. Honestly, you may be more invested than us because, like I said, we know what's going to happen. So like on those scenes where Andor is in fights and things like, I know you got to make it out because I mean, but I'm not thinking that in a moment. But after a while, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like he's going to make it. Mm-hmm. So for her, if you don't know if it's an entry to Star Wars, it's not going to give you the overall idea of Star Wars, but it is a great place to be like, oh, I will check out the rest of them just to see what it's like.
Yeah, and to be fair, she's seen Star Wars. She just doesn't give a shit about Star Wars. She thinks it's like, why do you like this shit so much? But also, I do think that Nick, if somebody had never seen anything Star Wars and they walked into this, the reason I don't think this is a good introduction is because nothing else is like this. So they're gonna watch this and any of the other shit and be like, what the fuck?
They go see Phantom Menace and they be like,
bro, what did you set me up for? What you looped me in with Good Kid, Mad City, and then you gave me a Kodak Black album. I'm turning all of this off, and now I'm mad because you fucking tricked me. So, but yeah, man, I'm glad y'all are liking it. Let's go ahead and jump into episode 7. It's entitled "The Messenger." And we are at BBY 2 years before the Battle of Yavin, aka 2 years before New Hope. So I'm gonna start with you, Nick. What did you think about the conversation between Mon Mothma and Senator Oren? That's the senator from Gorman.
I thought it was interesting. Is this when he was a punk ass nigga? He was just like, he wasn't really getting with her program and shit.
Yeah, because if you remember last time, he was just like, "No, I can't do it. I need to protect my people." No, but now he's like, "Look, I kind of fucked up. Can you help me?"
This is an interesting way of how they telling the story in the episodes or in this 3 arc or even throughout the whole season. But it just shows you like how people think like, oh, the Empire ain't that bad. And then Jayla would get this like that SpongeBob 3 hours later kind of thing. It's like you see how shit is getting fucked up, and you be like, hold on, I need to talk to somebody about this. You may be right. It's just funny because we as the audience obviously have so much history with the Empire. We know what they're capable of and how you really can't even fuck with them. But it's interesting just to see how people come to Jesus on their own, So that's what I took from it. I liked it from that concept. Outside of that, he a goofball. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what the fuck he talking about. But
damn, is he a goofball, Ken?
He kind of almost proven himself to be, especially as we went along, throughout this last remaining batch or this most recent batch. So, but yeah, I mean, in this particular series, he's not the best. And he hasn't been making a lot of good decisions when it comes to what they're trying to do. But, Mon Mothma, she's also very ambitious, and her heart's in this way more than him. He's trying to be a little bit more strategic in how he approached this.
What do you think, Jalen? Is he a punk?
I'm confused. I'm not going to lie to you. That's why I was hoping you would give me the question again.
What are you confused about?
Because that's not where the episode started. I remember the episode starting in.
Remember, I broke it up. So
that's why okay.
Trust
exactly.
The process, Jalen. Trust the process.
I knew. That's what I'm saying. I'm confused. I'm going to edit this out. I'm confused.
No, leave it. Leave it. You don't trust me. It's okay.
So where are we at again? Repeat the question.
We're at Mon Mothma talking to Senator Orrin.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I get this. This made perfect sense. And I remember when I told you, I was like, "There's no way they recasted him if that was the only scene." I said he had to come back.
You're thinking of
Because
Bail Organa. So Senator Orrin is the guy from
See?
Senator Orrin is the
I'm all
guy
fucked up.
from Gorman. He's the one that when Mon Mothma was begging for votes, she went to him and was like, I need your support. And he was like, no, I need to protect my people.
Okay.
He's the one that gets arrested in the next episode. I mean, I guess they kind of, if you're racist as shit, I guess they kind of look alike. So
Is that Lou Diamond Phillips? Is that
no,
who's
it's
playing
not
the
Lou Diamond Phillips.
What is it? I've seen him before. I thought his name was Lou Diamond, but never mind. That's a side tangent. Go ahead, Jayla. My bad.
Nah, y'all go ahead because I just need to hear more because I think I'm confused.
Mike said he got arrested at the end. He was the one. That
I
said,
know, but I'm trying to remember the scene, like, because most of this episode really focused on Andor and Bix and there, like, so like this scene probably isn't resonating with me right now. That's why I can't. I'm not. Yeah. It's not coming back to me.
So this was really the only main scene with Mon Mothma, which is why I was trying to get it out the way, but you wouldn't let me. But we were having a discussion, and basically what's happening is he's realizing that he should have listened to her, even though he was trying to protect his people, because if he sided with her, all of this shit probably would have happened even quicker. But he's basically saying things like, you know, they're not even trying to make up they're not even trying to lie badly anymore. Now they're just like throwing out bullshit because they know that everyone's just going to believe it, which again is very similar to what's happening today with our situation. But, you know, I guess that didn't make much of an impression on you. So let's go ahead and since you're already here, Jalen, let's go ahead and jump into the Gorman situation. So we see that we're in the aftermath of a quote unquote terrorist attack. As we see Cyril walking around, but it pretty quickly jumps to Daedra, and she's told to move forward with the plan. Pradagats has sent a new captain named Captain Kaido to assist. Did you find it interesting that when Daedra says that the rebels have weapons now, do you remember what Pradagats says in response to that, Jalen?
He's basically, it doesn't matter. Like, they're moving forward. They're gonna proceed either way, and they were beginning to give that propaganda about like how they're gonna do everything from here. So, and I found that I like a lot of the notes and a lot of the beats that were happening in this episode. And I know you talk to this all the time about agitators and like protests and stuff like that. We'll get to eventually, but you could see the parallels in like what he was saying and what the news cycle was saying as well. Like you could feel the parallels in those two. So like everything he was saying, we knew it was bullshit because they had an overall goal. So yeah, it all just fit for what was going on and how we look at the world today too.
What'd you get from that, Ken?
Wasn't he happy they had weapons?
Yes, he said we're counting on it.
Yeah. Because it helped further amplifies what they've been talking about. So them having weapons play right into everything that they've been setting up. So it was interesting when he said that. It was, oh, this is perfect. Then we don't have to do a lot here to really sell this story any further.
Did you get anything different from that, Nick?
Nah, I took it as like it was interesting between this conversation and the stuff that he's telling Daedra not to tell. What's his name? Cyril.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you could tell he's in that position that Daedra's in with Cyril. Like he got more information. Like, look, nigga, we already been playing this shit out. We just was trying to see what else we could have go on to secure what we about to do. That's why he was like, nigga, you telling me this? Like, I don't know. Fuck, they better. Because that's we moving forward regardless, nigga. So like it was kind of just like that situation that I took that perspective of like, oh, they been had an answer on this shit a long time ago.
But wasn't her position a little bit different, Nick? Because she knew what the overall goal was and what like exactly was going to happen. She just didn't have any input. She didn't have any input on how it was really done.
From how I took how this ended, she didn't know that things were like fuck it already. She was just looking at it from the perspective of we're still trying to do and maneuver around certain things so we can kind of get to where we're going. She didn't know that the button was already pushed. It's saying fuck all that shit. I think, and Mike, I'm saying that in context of like based on how things translated, it escalated in a way where like there was nothing big that you could say happened to where it was like, oh, this wasn't the original plan, or like this wasn't the plan in motion already.
I don't take it that way. I think she thought she didn't have the and this is my opinion. I could be wrong. She just didn't have the heart for it as much as she thought she did. Like she was gonna see it in person. She was gonna actually have to like see everything happening. And I think like a little bit of her was changing. Like I really like it was a great idea, but I don't want to really be around to execute it. That's how I was kind of taking it.
I took it as both when it comes from she didn't see it coming, and she also changed her mind about it. But in the end, however, it was also more like I thought I was in charge. How did I not know? How did y'all not run none of this by me for me to process and deal with? Because by the time she was telling shit, I'm jumping in. Sorry.
Y'all always do that, but I'm actually more with Jalen with this. I mean, we will get to it, I guess maybe, but I don't think she necessarily changed her mind, because you have to remember this was her plan. This was all her idea. This whole creating this antagonistic situation with the Gormans so they have an excuse. I think what happened is she wasn't ready to see it herself. That's what I think actually happened. But since we're talking about Deidre and Cyril, what did you think about the conversation between Deidre and Cyril, the one that happened in the hallway, Nick?
Is this when she randomly kisses him awkwardly as hell?
Yes.
This was the beginning where I was leaning to what you were always saying, Mike, as far as like there's going to be one of them that kind of turns against each other. And especially after, what's his name? Proton. What's his name? Yeah. Her boss. Basically her boss.
Mm-hmm.
When he was like, don't tell Cyril what we actually got going on. Like this was like, that was the seed to let us know, oh, their relationship is going to break apart based off the secrets that she's keeping. And when she was just like talking to him, like, listen, don't worry about that. Pack your bag. We're going to get the fuck up out of here. It's going to be me and you. And he was still asking questions. And she was like, nah. Because remember last episode, he asked questions. She threw pussy on the table and he couldn't deny it. Mm-hmm. So this time when they just in the hallway and he's asking questions, she just like, bro, don't worry about it. We're going to be good. You could tell it's like he getting fed up.
You get
but
the
I
same
told
thing.
Y'all that.
Oh, no, go ahead, Jalen.
I told y'all that. I told y'all like this is when I felt vindicated in this fucking moment. And well, it was leading to my vindication. Where I was just like, yeah, she don't really want him to know everything. Like they're not partners in this. Like there's a control dynamic in it.
That's a different conversation. We were talking about if she actually gave a fuck about him.
Yeah.
And not just using him. We all knew he knew he was a part in all this. Like, I thought we were just more talking about does she actually care for him, which I think she kind of do. That's why she kissed him like that. Nasty as hell.
Was that kiss nasty, Ken?
They've always had a very awkward relationship. They both are weird, but that's why they kind of work, for each other. The job just was starting to come in between them in a way that I don't think either one of them envisioned. And she put her job before the relationship, but she also thought she could have her cake and eat it too, and that she would be able to continue to she was still controlling the situation. So no, it was awkward, but he wasn't really trying to hear it. But nevertheless, he just took it, mainly because she just left anyway. She didn't even give him a chance to say shit. She just kissed him and left. So yeah.
So I think I took from this scene something a little bit different. I don't think she kissed him in that moment because she gave a shit about him at all. She kissed him to stop him from asking questions. Mm-hmm. Just like she threw some ass on the table before to get him to stop asking all them damn questions. That's why I think that scene was fucking brilliant. That's why it was so awkward and weird. Because she was just like, I don't know what to do. He's figuring it out. Let me just kiss him, and then maybe he'll stop. And it kind of sort of worked in that moment, even though Cyril was still pissed off. But I think that was her way of trying to divert his attention. because she knows he's a fucking loser that doesn't really get ass like that. So she can do that to him and he'll stop. So I actually thought that scene was really interesting. But we're gonna jump to the Gorman rebels because we're talking about Cyril. Cyril's talking to Enza, who is Krylance's daughter. She's like the dark skinned or dark haired girl, and he tells her that he kind of wants to blame the whole thing on outside agitators, and she slaps him. Why did she slap him, Nick?
Because he a bitch ass nigga. Hey, Mike, I was riding that about 5 times, but I hate being interrupted by a slap in the face. You ever had that happen to you, Mike, when you was talking to somebody slapped you in the face? No. A woman, I should say.
One time, but it was a long
Exactly. But you remember it though. You still
a little bit, yeah, because it kind of hurt.
That's how he felt. He was salty as hell when she was like, "Nigga, I ain't trying to hear a damn thing you about to say. Fuck you." I didn't know what to really take from the scene outside of the obvious was that she don't fuck with him, and I think for him, I don't know if that made him think about things differently as far as like how close he got or how close he really is with them. But I just took it as far as like they kind of figured you out a little bit.
Did you get the same thing, Jalen?
Bro, I must be watching something totally different because I'd be confused as hell right now. I'm confused.
What? You don't remember the scene?
You remember seeing he got slapped the fuck out when she just ran up the stairs?
It was a quick scene though.
Bro, episode 7 must be going over my head, and I was sitting there watching it. I watched it last night.
You sure?
I'm positive, nigga. I'm positive. Maybe if Ken talks about it, I really don't remember this right now.
All right. Well, Ken, what did you get when she slapped the shit out of him?
I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. Because his whole relationship with them has been was kind of weird. So I don't know. It just happened so fast. I don't know if she was insulted because he just grabbed her without asking for permission. She looked at that. She was like, "Well, have a good look then." And this was her chance to slap him. Or maybe she felt insulted that the mission and everything that they were trying to do, he was trying to put it on someone else, and somebody else was trying to get credit for it. But yeah, I'm not exactly too sure about why she did that. They have a lot of these short scenes that sometimes kind of go over my head.
So what I got is, because this follows, they're having the rebel meeting and they're arguing about if they should keep fighting in a forceful way or if they should keep fighting in more of a peaceful way. I think what this was supposed to mean is, because you have to remember, this is a year after the last chunk of episodes that we saw, right? So that means that Cyril's been talking to them for a year. And now he's coming to them. They kind of realize that he might be playing double sides. And he's saying, well, let's just blame the entire thing on outside agitators. I think the reason she got mad is because that's like him saying, well, y'all shouldn't fight. Like, let's just all stop fighting. Let's blame it on outside agitators. Let the Empire do what they're going to do and we'll be done. So I think she slapped him because she realized that he's full of shit. Mm-hmm. That's all I could get from it. But yeah, and then we kind of see that the Empire has brought in a convoy of very young and inexperienced soldiers. So unless anybody has anything to say about that, we'll jump into the Cassian part of the story. Does anybody have anything? Okay. So we find Andor and Bix are now living on the rebel base in Yavin. And yes, Jalen, this is where the episode starts. This might be where you got actually, I can't remember if it started here or if it started with Cyril walking through the courtyard. But either way, they're on Yavin.
In that bad bitch jacket that he had,
he
was strutting in that.
I would too. He acted brand. That's why he was standing up to Dedra like that. He's like, "You see my jacket, bitch."
That's why he was shocked he got slapped. He was like, "I ain't been disrespected in this fit."
He said, "It must be dark and you can't see how fly my jacket is, because you wouldn't have slapped me like that." This Burberry motherfucker. No, that jacket was dope though. But yeah, so Andor and Bix are now on the rebel base. Jalen, if you remember this part, what did you think about the conversation between Willman and Cassian concerning why Willman is there.
He was saying that this is the opportunity to finally kill Deidre. So yeah, I remember this.
He did. You heard them clicks in the background, Mike. He was Google searching this shit.
No, I really like this part because, and how it comes full circle throughout the 3 episodes too. Like Andor just wants to break away. He's done. Like he's like, man, I gave y'all all I can. I don't really care to do anything else. And like Luthen can have whatever the rebellion is doing. I'm gonna do my part here, but I want to be a part of the extra shit. And it was interesting because, and I remember this is how the episode started off because I was like, damn, we keep doing time jumps. And this was, it said a year later, and they had their place or whatever. And it's interesting to see like in these time jumps how they develop into different people, like not different people, but they just, you can see the character development.
Yeah.
And I just was like, yeah, I don't really know if he's gonna do it. Like I was gonna wait and see like how long it was gonna take for him to be convinced. Like what was gonna be the way to convince him. I thought maybe by episode 8 and then 9 something would change. Because I was with him. I was like, yeah, bro, you've been giving a lot. Like you've been losing people. You've been in situations where they plan something and you got to figure your way out of it a different way. So I was 100% with Andor when he was having the conversation with him.
What about you, Ken?
About him talking to Will about Deidre.
Yeah, the conversation they were having where he's asking him like, where have you been? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then Willman's asking him to go assassinate Dedra.
Yeah. It was really interesting the paranoia he had about where he's been. And I don't know if that was him distrusting Luthen or not. But he was really, really concerned about his whereabouts. And he wouldn't let it go. And, you know, he kind of manipulated the situation and using Ferris to his advantage to try to get revenge on what happened to Deidre as well. And I like that too. But, you know, him saying that, hey, Luther want to know if you're ready to work. And, you know, him kind of being reluctant and really just trying to find out if Will was still on their side and not, you know, he hasn't been compromised. But yeah, he definitely wouldn't let that go.
What you Nick?
I thought this was funny because I love how we see Will a year later drop his nuts. You know what I'm saying? He over here act like he Mr. Badass, Mr. Outlaw. You see how he was strutting in, walking in with the gun and all that shit, walking up to their spot. And Andy's like, nigga, you still a little nigga that I knew from across the street. Where you been at? Cuz ain't trying to answer him at all. He was like, he would just say he would give out another answer or another thing, or he'll try to change the conversation. And I love how Andy kept pressing, like, nah, nigga, but where you been at? And he was like, look, we got a mission to do. Are you in it or not? And Andy like, nigga, I ain't trying to hear none of that. You know what I'm saying? I got my bad bitty right here with me. I did what I had to do. I served my time. And he's like, we still got to rebel. We still got to fight. You know what I'm saying? Just because you happy don't mean everybody else is. And I think Andy knows exactly what he's saying, but at the same time, he's like, bro, I'm tired.
Go ahead.
And I also think, Mike, like, because the last thing we saw was him and Bix blow up that floor. So, like, it would also be like it could be like a bookend for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we got our revenge. We out of here. So for them to be together and sitting still, like, it's like, we can help when we want to, but we ain't really got to do shit. Like, we got out. I got my revenge. We could chill. Like, we good. We done lost enough people. So it also made sense for Andor to just be like, nah, I don't really want to do it. Nah. And I'm sick of Luthen. He always lying. He done tried my woman one time. I ain't trying to go back into that cycle.
See, I didn't get that Andor was out. I only got that he specifically did not want to work with Luthen anymore because they were at the rebel base and they were still working with the rebellion. I think that he simply was tired of dealing with Luthen shit because he can't trust him. So we have to remember there's been a year here. I mean, part of me wishes that they were able to flesh this out and we got, a season for each year. But I imagine that something has happened between the last time we saw them working together and now. But Andor is at the Rebel base. One of those people told Biggs, I think it was Vel, that like they want to promote him, but he keeps fucking up because he keeps leaving.
Mhm.
So he's not leaving the rebellion. He wants to stay there and work. He just doesn't want to deal with Luthen. I think his paranoia is you can't trust anybody. Like this is the rebellion. Anybody could be a snitch. And yeah, Wilman's his friend, but who knows what the fuck happened to Wilman over this past year. So
I don't know. 'Cause I don't think he would look at like Wilma would ever betray me like that. I look at it as more as because now that I'm talking about it with y'all, this episode, based off how the last episode ended, it seemed like they saw the signal from Luthen and ignored it and did their own shit. You know what I'm saying? At least that's how. Or that's how I took it, because based on how we get into this episode and how he hasn't, I think Will said something like he hasn't heard from you in a minute. He don't know if you're still a part of this, like what's going on. We need you and all that. And Andy like, look, bro, I'll come for when I want to, like I'll do the shit when I got to, but I'm chilling right now. I did my time. You know what I'm saying? Again, like I feel like this is his like, they go the old cop shows or have a guy who's in retirement. They trying to get him out of retirement. You know what I'm saying? Like this is how I felt like he was, based off of how like, because I'm rethinking this episode as I'm going back of how the last episode ended, and I feel like he's just a year of like I'm with Bix, like we're just together.
I definitely think that what we saw at the end of the last chunk of episodes, that was Luthen's doing. I don't think that Andor and Bix have the connections to get inside of an ISB base like that.
You don't think so?
No, absolutely not. No way. Because anytime we've seen Andor be able to break into something like this, it's with Luthen's help.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Andor could do that shit by himself. So I think go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, all I was gonna say was that I thought that Andor picked up on some things as he's been working with Luthen. You know what I'm saying? Like
maybe, but I think it would be too big of a coincidence that the signal goes off where Luthen's saying, "Hey, another mission." Bix says, "I'm going with you," and then the very next scene we see them taking out Goss. I think it would be kind of a weird coincidence if we're meant to believe that they didn't work with Luthen on that particular mission. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. But either way, I definitely think that Andor is very much still into the rebellion. I just think that something has happened with Luthen. It might have to do with that blaster mark that's on his back. Maybe Luthen got him into some bullshit and almost got him killed, and he's like, well, fuck this guy. But because he has that blaster mark that's not healing, Ken, what do you think about what went down between Cassian and the Force healer?
If only he knew what was to come.
I know.
He got warned about it too, and it seemed like Bix picked up on it as well. And I think the Empire has definitely been able to kind of spread some doubt into the Force and its legitimacy as well, because he didn't really believe in all of that stuff. He thought it was like dark magic or whatever however he described it. But Bix forced him to go get help reluctantly, and he did. And he probably heard some things that he didn't want to hear, but it sounded like he took his advice, as we found out that later on. But I think he definitely needed to get healed up. And and also think that he has been doing like side missions, which is why he's been shot. It's just not he has been with Luthen, because I think he was still mad about what went down between Luthen and Bix and how he played that whole situation.
What'd you think of that scene, Nick?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards what Ken just said. I think that's what I'm saying. I think at this point in time, Andor has done a lot to where he's learned enough to where he can still do missions by himself with or without Luthen's help. And maybe without Luthen's help, that's how he gets shot. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, I just did a side mission, so I don't feel like going out there in the streets again. But I love how we open up with Andor can't really see himself without Bix. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if he's helping with the rebellion or not, like I got her with me regardless. And I'm gonna be by her regardless. That's kind of what Luthen called him out on in the last batch, Like, which one is more important, her or the rebellion? And he says yes. You know what I'm saying? He really answered the question. He said yes. So I love how this kind of sets us up for what's to come.
Jalen, how'd you feel about that scene with the Force healer?
Before I answer, I do have a question. Now I saw it.
Right.
I did have a no, I didn't. I have a question for you. I remember when y'all reviewed episode 9, you weren't a fan of the Force healing people. Has like the use of it over time changed your mind about it?
It's not so much that I'm not a fan of the Force healing people. I'm not a fan of fucking Rey healing Kylo Ren after he got stabbed through the stomach when plenty of other people have died from that shit. Plenty of other people that should have known, oh, hey, guys, there's this thing called Force healing where we can just touch the hole in your stomach and it just heals up. That's what I'm not a fan of.
Gotcha.
Like when Grogu did it, it didn't bother me because it was just like, it was a little bite.
So you lethal. You talking about lethal like
lethal,
things,
and the fact that Rey hasn't been fucking trained. She shouldn't even know how to do that.
Gotcha.
But also I don't know if this woman that we're looking at in this show was ever a Jedi. I think that she might just be a Force user. So this kind of thing doesn't really bother me that much.
I liked it just because of the dialogue she was given, and especially how we know what happens to Andor, especially how she was like people's experiences like shape them, but he's picking up as he goes because he's searching for something. Like there's a need. And like that right there also is another reason why this arc becomes full circle at the end of it, because Bix recognizes like, oh, this is bigger than me. Like, and so yeah, like I really love this. Like this was my favorite part of this episode, just the way she was talking about Andor, because like sometimes you can have a weight on you and you don't even know it. Like that's basically what she was saying about Andor. Like Andor has a weight on that he's kind of running, he's trying to embrace it, but he's also running away from it. He's like in a push and pull. And yeah, and it really just solidified for me like Andor is that nigga. Like I already kind of knew it and I felt it throughout the season, but when she said it, like, yeah, he that nigga. He is.
Yeah, I love this scene, just like you said, based on the things that she was saying. And because we know where all of this ends. I like how she was saying that there's a place that Cassian's meant to be. I think that's obviously he's meant to be there. He's meant to be a part of the rebellion. But I like when she said he's a messenger, because that's basically how he died. You know, he died being a messenger with the Death Star plans. So I think that was just like a really cool way to like drop an Easter egg and kind of explain what's happening. But I also kind of took from this, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on this part, but I almost was like, are they hinting that Bix is Force sensitive or something? Because she's like, I felt it too. And I know you think it's bullshit, but I felt it. So I'm like, oh, okay. I wonder if that's where this is going. But maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, so the episode kind of ends here with, or at least Cassian's part does. Cassian and Wilman land on Gorman, and they're developing a plan to kill Deidre. Were you surprised, Nick, to see who checked him in?
Who? Oh, like in the hotel?
Yeah.
No, who was that?
Oh,
boy.
Was that the dude he met when he was the fashion designer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that makes sense about their conversation. So yeah, then yes,
that's why it made sense to me too, Nick. I was feeling like, how the fuck he know what's going on?
I was like,
I had to think about it.
He didn't even just be talking to anybody talking about I got friends anywhere. He just trying to see where it go work. You know what I'm saying? He may get a free drink or a free room. But yeah, so now I got that context, and yeah, I was surprised to see that motherfucker was there, and I fuck with how he still remembered Andy too. He was like, "Look, nigga, she gonna report your ass because she a snitch. Right? So make sure you do what you gotta do quick." You know what I mean? I fuck with dude, and I don't know if he died or not, but I fuck with dude. I hope he's still out there living.
Do y'all feel like they were having like a coded conversation?
Mm-hmm. I don't. Cassian, the bellboy and Cassian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were.
I don't think that. To me, it didn't feel like it felt like Andor. He was like acknowledging it, but he wasn't giving any like details or anything. Like I felt like he respected the fact that he knew that what was going on, but I don't think he was like he didn't respond in any way.
But I think he was trying. The bellboy, was trying to give him like some on the ground I guess, information about what's been going on since he hasn't been there and certain things to look out for. You
And he
know,
gave him that
and
specific room and said, it might be
And overlooked the
noisy,
plaza.
huh?
And it was overlooking the plaza for everything that was coming.
Right.
But I don't. What I'm saying is like I think Andor was just taking the information. It wasn't like Andor was giving anything back. That's why when he said they were having a coded conversation, Andor didn't respond in any way. He was just taking everything as like, all right, this is good information for him to know. Like
Well,
I
then
didn't
the
take it
bellboy
as
was
them.
speaking in code then, and Andor was just absorbing it. Because I
Yeah.
think y'all might have missed. Did y'all see that the bellboy was in the rebel meeting earlier?
No, I didn't see
no, I did not.
I didn't notice it the first time, but since I had to rewatch it again to make notes, he's actually, when they're arguing about how to fight
that.
before Cyril got popped in his mouth, he's in that room. He's at the table with all of the other rebels. So since the last time we saw him, he has joined the Gorman Rebellion. So when he's at the desk and he's talking to Andor, I definitely think he knew what Andor was there for. He knew, or at least he knew that he was there as a rebel spy. Especially the fact that he gave him a completely different name this time than he gave him last time. So I thought that whole scene was actually pretty dope. But yeah, this takes us into episode 8 entitled "Who Are You?" And with this one, since the stories do converge at one point, we are going to start with the beginning of Cassian's story. And we see that Cassian, while he's getting the blicky ready, Nick, he sees the Imperials are setting up blockades outside of the window. But Wilman missed it because he was out getting some ass from a cutie patootie, Nick. Does Wilman need to go?
I didn't know if this was the same girl. I was like, damn, did he fly her out? Yeah, did he find that motherfucking fly? Because she got the same. Yeah, because she got the same. She's a blonde too. So that's why I was like, is this the same one or she just cut her hair? But I'm thinking he moved on. He had to move on because this motherfucker been all over the place. And you right, Mike. Honestly, I was ready for Wilman to go this whole arc. I was like, he gonna die. I was waiting for him to die somehow, some way.
Me too.
And he somehow, some way made it. That lucky son of a bitch. I guess his horniness got carried. It was the force, and it carried him where he needed to go because he was always around the biddy. I swear he was. But yeah, I don't know what to take of Wilman. I don't know if I'm supposed to see him as he's how do like someone who's a youth grow into this rebellion stuff? Because we see him, I think, in the first season, like he's super young, and then from tragedy and all that, like he's kind of like another Andor in his own way. Mm-hmm. But I don't fuck with him for real. Like he alright, but I'm ready for him to go.
You ready for him to die, Ken?
I don't know, man. Wilman, you know, he had a moment or two here. He knows some stuff, but y'all know how it is when you get with somebody, man, and he's willing to die for this girl, as we see. And
that nigga was willing to die for the last one too. He need to stay out of pussy. Pussy gonna get him killed.
We can say the same thing about Andor, bro. Andor's in the same situation. You know, when it comes to his girl, he's caught up in bits as well.
Bix wasn't gonna get him killed though.
Yeah, exactly. And the crazy part is
she's a real one. But shit, Andor's, man, come on, man. Y'all, Andor's in the same situation.
It's not the same, Ken. Eddie, you know it ain't the same. You know it ain't the same.
Especially if you trying to compare the love that Andy got for Bix versus what he got for her.
I'm just saying, I think the women are
that's my second point, Mike.
The women are complicating their overall objectives, just in different ways.
Nah.
Ken, I risk my life for Bix. She a fictional character. All right?
I'm not even, but that's not even what I'm.
Let her know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I knew that's what you were gonna say, but
right.
I'm trying to tell you.
It's like being in the hood. I could date the girl who down the street, and we can go through shit together. I'm willing to do shit. He dating the damn girl that's across city and then Beverly Hills, who she got her own shit going on, and you trying to deal with her shit.
See, I'm going at it from a completely different angle. He just fucking met her. He just met her.
That too.
They showed him in the last episode. They're like making like little googly eyes. He don't love this girl. Andor has known Bix since they were kids. So I see why he would risk it all for Bix. Her being fine, regardless. I
Yeah.
see why he would
Because the
risk it.
relationship is more established.
Yeah,
Yes.
because Big said when she asked him when the Force healer asked her how long she knew Andor, she
Yeah, I
said
don't
she don't remember a time when she didn't know him.
Right.
That's different, Ken.
Hey,
That's
Jay,
different. That's
I
a
had to
fucking line.
I
That's
had to
a
rewind. I had to rewind that because I was like, when was the last time a biddy talked to me like that?
Never. Don't lie, Nick.
Just saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I had to rewind it.
Nah.
Yeah,
I feel
women
like our moms are the only ones that would say some shit like that. I ain't never met no girl that says shit like that.
bro.
If
Women
you
gotta
did,
go,
Mike,
bro.
that's the one. I'm gonna tell you
That's
that
the
right now.
one.
That's the one.
But no, I'm sick of Wilman. Wilman's getting
Women
on my
gotta go.
fucking nerves.
He the weak link.
But,
He the weak link for real.
100%. 100%. But okay, so Jalen, what do you think about Daedra's convo with Pradagast concerning them not having to worry anymore about keeping up with spreading rumors?
Oh, we already knew. No, yeah. We like it was very reminiscent to like in the beginning. Like he was basically said, we good to go. Like everything's locked and loaded, and like the rumors have done their job. Because they were beginning to hear about the mining at this point. So it was just like, who cares what the fuck they know? They about to die anyway. Like they don't like they can say whatever the hell they want, and once we kill them, we can create whatever narrative we want to do because it's not like they're gonna be able to say shit. So yeah, like it was all there. It was just laid out right in front of us what was about to happen.
It just reminds me so much of I mean there's a lot of parallels to the real world, but I remember specifically the Sentinel Gate situation, and one of those messages that Vance said is we can't start doing this now because we haven't educated the people, is how you phrase it in this. I'm paraphrasing, educated the people on it yet. So we can't start talking about it yet. Like the things that they do behind the scenes and the sort of propaganda and brainwashing of like just everybody else, you know, is very present in this episode. And at this point now, everything that they've done has been successful. And now, regardless of what happens moving forward, it's irrelevant because we're in go mode.
Mm-hmm.
It
It goes back to that. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
No, go ahead.
Finish your
Whoever wants.
It was just going back to also like in the beginning of the season when they were in that art gallery thing and they were talking about basically like who gets to tell the story of what happens. Like the winner gets to tell whatever happens. Like so, whatever it can be wrong, right, or indifferent. Like, but I won. So the story is what I say, and I write history now. And that's basically what he was saying. They're like, when it's over, we get to say what the hell we want to say.
Did you get something different, Nick?
What was the question again?
When they're talking, when Pradagast and Daedra are talking in the room, and he's basically like, "Yeah, we don't." She's basically like, it looks like she's getting slightly agitated because she didn't know that the drilling had already started.
Yes, this is the
And
part that
he's
I was.
just like, we ain't got to spread rumors no more. Like it's already everything has been established.
This is the part that I was trying to talk about earlier. As far as like, I felt like her response to a lot of this was like, I thought I was in control.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when it goes back to that a past batch episodes ago when she was like, "Damn, y'all moving me to Gorman for what? I thought I was doing this. I thought shit." He was like, "Nigga, first of all, you fucked up. All right? That's why you get moved around like you is." Because that's why he was like, "We want to see results. We don't want to hear none of what you talking about." And he was like, "Just use this opportunity. If you do good, then you're gonna be in good graces." So she is thinking this whole time she's in control. And I feel like as we watch each episode and as we get to her story, we see how much she's not in control. And she's just used as a pawn in a lot of this stuff. And we will get to how Cuz was talking crazy to her, the one in the black suit. You know what I'm saying? He said some greasy shit to her.
Yeah, like Cyril.
Yeah.
She's basically like Cyril in this.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like we're seeing that in different levels. And I feel like this is one of the first episodes that I kind of noticed it more, or at least started to notice like how she was like, "Damn, nigga, like I thought I ain't gonna at least run this by me. I ain't get no say so in the meeting as far as all this shit going." He was like, "Nah, nigga, just do what you do. We already got this."
But that's always been the Empire's MO. Like that's
yes,
always
but
been,
but
like,
she didn't think that was gonna hit her like that, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
That's interesting. I never thought about it that way, Nick. So yeah, I think that's interesting. I thought she was just getting upset because it sounded like a great idea until it started happening. And I think when she started looking at the people and she's like, oh, fuck, I'm here. I have to actually watch this go down. I'm not in some office somewhere, you know, telling them to go do this. I'm here. I'm the face of this. That's what I thought. But no, what you're saying does make sense. It would absolutely make sense for her to be like, because she wants to be in charge. She wants people to listen to her. And for them to just start this and not be telling her as the steps go, I can see why that would piss her off. So that does make sense.
I think it's both, Mike. I think it's like her figuring out she's losing control, then her seeing like how much like the weight of the empire actually affects people. Not to a point where I think she's empathetic, but just more so of like, damn, when these niggas say this shit is gonna happen, this shit is gonna happen. Like we gotta wipe these motherfuckers out. We wiping these motherfuckers out. Like it's crazy to see in person still. But I think the first instinct was like, damn, I thought I was one of the people that was seated at the table, and I realized I'm not.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So Kryland's the leader of, well, the kind of sort of leader of the Gorman Rebellion group. I think they're called the Gorman Front, if I remember correctly. But he has somehow figured out when he's watching the courtyard, he's figured out that the Imperials want them to attack. That it's actually a trap. And he tries to stop his daughter from keeping it going, but she doesn't listen. But as he's running through the crowd, he runs into Cyril. Ken, what did you think about the scene here where he's talking to Cyril?
I was actually surprised Cyril was as aggressive as he was in that particular scene. It was definitely a turning point for him, you know, just in that whole exchange that they had. And maybe he was still mad because his daughter slapped him and he was just trying to take it out on daddy. But I love the awareness that the OG had. It's just, it's just young people don't listen to old people, bro, when they try to give them game and wisdom about stuff, and they became victims in this whole situation. And then even him kind of realizing, kind of Cyril's whole role in this as well. When it all kind of came to the forefront here.
I don't know, Ken, man. I think it's he kind of got what he deserved, low key. Because like I mean, because Andor had told him earlier, like, bro, y'all are doing this shit, like, y'all don't know what y'all doing, like, y'all are taking in all kind of information, don't know if it's misinformation or what and what's going on. And he blew Andor off like, I ain't trying to hear your shit, nigga. Like, he felt like he was in control. So it's like, in a way, he kind of like set himself up, because I get it. He finally had the information as far as like he saw what was going on in the courtyard, but it was like, bro, like you didn't heed the advice that was given to you either. So you looking at your daughter and you trying to tell her something, but you didn't even take the advice from somebody else. Somebody more experienced gave you the same thing. You be like, yo, y'all need to be more cautious about what y'all are doing. So I'm not too upset about it, like, because it's like, all right, bro. I was more upset at the daughter though. I get your point. The daughter, like, he straight up told, like, you have time to change this. Like, you can go ahead and let them know they're walking into a trap. But she was like, no, we fed up. We sick of this shit. So I think everybody was just moving off of arrogance, and it's kind of like what happened.
All right, before I go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say, I think when you were talking about Cyril's conversation with Cuz, I thought that was one of the best scenes of the series, when he's like because at that point Cyril has come to grips with like what he's actually been a part of, and when dude questions his whole humanity, Cyril couldn't say shit. All he went, and what we noticed in Cyril in this episode is that when he is dumbfounded, he goes to anger, he goes in aggression, like it's just some type of white boy rage you literally see in front of our eyes. But I'm with Jalen, kid. I don't know why you playing bail bondsman today. I don't know what the hell you.
How so?
I know you picked up a second shift, during this recession. But yeah, I guess. But Jalen, right, bro? That nigga he's a goofball he's learning the consequences of his actions. And he told his goofy ass nigga, you need to think this through. Your dumb ass is gonna cause all this shit. It's gonna blow up in your face. And he like, nigga, I gotta do something because these motherfuckers can't put their foot on my neck. I'm like, and I got that. But then, like at the end of the day, when he found out he was wrong, at the last minute, when literally guns are being drawn, he thought about, so hold on, don't do it. It's too late. You already gathered up the motherfuckers. Y'all had your little side meetings on the ground. You even brought in a op that you didn't know it was an op, but you was that thirsty to collaborate. You brought in an op. You fucked up, and now you want to clean up at the last minute?
Well, yeah. If you knock over a glass of milk, you want to go get a mop and clean it up. You still fucked up by knocking the shit over, but you can't just leave it on the fucking ground, on the fucking floor, because it's gonna create a stain and all kind of shit.
I get that point, Ken. But what I'm saying is, like, you're saying more so that like you felt him as the OG and she not listening. And it was like, bro, you didn't listen either. It's like
that was a whole year ago, man.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was finna go. That was a whole year ago. Not only that, I think y'all are leaving out the fact that these people are desperate. And what he saw was the Empire was coming into his territory and his people were going to suffer. He was looking to Andor for help. Andor was kind of a dick. Yes, of course, we all know he's right because we're watching the show and we see that Cyril is not being truthful. But in the moment, the dude was like, I'm asking for help. And you're basically just telling me just like, nah, you're not ready. We're not fucking with you. So I don't think I agree with y'all that Rylance got what he deserved. But I think Rylance did just the same as most other people would have done. He doesn't know Andor from Adam. Y'all can say, oh, well, he didn't listen. Andor knows, because you're watching a show. The dude didn't know anything about Andor except for Luthen sent you. That's all I know.
My thing is, even if you remove yourself as the audience, that conversation Andy had with Cuz at the bar, he was like, nigga, he laid it out. The plan sounded goofy as hell when you lay it out in conversation. He was like, so y'all want to go rob them, parade around with their weapons, and showcase to the city, which also showcased to them that y'all robbed them, and then y'all want to try to fight them? He was like, bro, it don't make no sense. He says, like, stealing the weapons ain't the thing. It's how you want to, like, what's your plan after that? They didn't have one. And his pushback, which, like, you, to your point, Mike, they are desperate, but they ain't ignorant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
they are ignorant.
Ignorant to reason is like, Andy was giving them reason, and they was like, fuck it, we want to do what we want to do.
I don't think it's just they want to do what they want to do. They know that they don't have a lot of options. Nobody's listening to them. This was basically their last resort, is going to Andor and Luthen. Andor said, y'all not ready. I don't want nothing to do with this. I'm out. Good luck. So he's like, well, fuck you then. I have no other option. So yeah, even if you think that the whole plan to rob and all that was silly, we're now a year later. Andor didn't even know that this was what was going to happen. Nobody knew that was actually in the know. Cyril didn't fucking know. So I don't know that we can look at Rylance and just say, oh, you a dumb motherfucker because you should have listened to Andor a year ago. Andor didn't tell him that, look, you're going to walk into a trap. He did say, like, hey, be careful about the intel that you get. But it's not like they planned this whole thing around Cyril's intel. They just didn't know. Well, Rylance was mad at Cyril because he didn't know that there was going to be drilling into the planet. And he didn't know that Cyril was a fucking snitch. So that's why I think this part was interesting, because of the reason that Rylance was mad at Cyril, and then the reason Cyril got mad back at Rylance, because Rylance called his entire life situation into question, and he confirmed that Deidre's been lying to him. So yeah. I think that's what I took away from this. But go ahead, Jalen.
Yeah. But Nick, you know what it's like to me? Some Mark Zuckerberg looking motherfucker walk in the club and he fall in love with the first stripper that gave him a little piece of ass, and I walk over and tell him, hey bro, she a stripper. Don't leave with her. Don't take her home. Don't wife her, bro. I see her in there every weekend. Every weekend on niggas. And then a year later he come back and like, bro, she took me for all my money. Well, nigga, I told you, nigga.
Jalen, you know a much better apt analogy? A motherfucker growing up in the hood and Jay-Z shows up and says, hey, I'm going to teach you about cryptocurrency. You should listen to me. somebody else comes over and says, "Don't listen to this motherfucker about this cryptocurrency. This is some bullshit." And the hood dude who's poor says, "Nah, this guy knows what he's talking about. I'm gonna go listen to him because he's offering me something that you're not offering me, which is hope. It's false hope, but it's still hope because my ass is broke and desperate. Y'all motherfuckers just mean. That's what y'all are."
Hey, but what would you tell that motherfucker if you warned that motherfucker like, hey, that crypto ain't gonna be the way to go, bro? Because you a crypto skeptic already, like, bro, that ain't the way to go. And he still work on this shit for a full year. He work on this shit.
I see why it happened. I'm sorry that Jay-Z got you. That's what I would
You're
say. I would not
lie.
say
You're fucking lie, Mike.
I swear to God.
Hey, you won't tell him, but you gonna tell us. No, the fuck
I
you
would tell
get.
y'all. I would tell y'all, but I'm not gonna tell the dude because I don't really think that that's what he deserves. He's poor. He's desperate. He doesn't deserve to get taken advantage of by a fucking predator, which is what happened to Rylance.
I think we're just gonna have to agree to disagree on this.
We are.
However, I want
Yeah.
to acknowledge the fact that it was funny as hell when he got thrown into the streets like an old man. He was like, "You need help, old man." He was like,
I hate I laugh at that shit, Nick.
"It's because he said, get your goddamn."
I tell you, like, get off me, bro.
You're
You needed
pretty
that help,
strong,
bro.
man.
We didn't see him for a whole hour later.
And he was sitting down on the floor like a bum.
Yeah, he died at the shop. Them spider webs ain't gonna help you now. Nigga.
Oh shit! He didn't even hit him. He just threw him. He threw him, and then just walked off like he ain't do it. He walked off into the crowd like, fuck that shit. He took all his aggression that he wanted to take on Deidre out on this man first.
Nah, I'm about to say he still has some aggression left when he got
We're gonna get to that. That's one of the best scenes.
Well, let's go ahead and jump. Let's go ahead and jump into that. I don't even care who wants to go first. Who wants to talk about when my boy Cyril went in there and fucking held it down on these hoes? Nick, what happened here, bro?
Hey, bro, this was because I had to question myself. Like, is this a domestic? You know, I was trying to.
Yeah,
I had to process.
Yeah,
I had to process.
I was same thing.
But what I thought about was I took it objectively. If someone is trying to cause genocide, they deserve to get choked up. I don't care what creed, color, or gender you are. If you trying to cause genocide to somebody, you deserve to get choked up. So when Cyril went in there, he was about business. How Franklin say on Snowfall Kid, business. He was about business. He was like, "Don't tell me that goofy shit you been telling me." He had to, she ain't know what to do, man.
Bro.
She was like, I don't know. She was
Nick,
probably
it was a
turned on.
shoulder choke. It wasn't even around her. He didn't have a hand around her neck. It was on her. She was choking from her shoulders.
Hey,
He was
hey,
afraid
Jay.
just from that. He was squeezing her fucking upper shoulder. She was like, "Oh shit."
Hey Jay, but you knew where it was going. You know, they start at the shoulders, and then he was like, "Nigga, tell me what's going on," because I'm feeling a certain type of way. I'm feeling like I'm stupid. I'm feeling like a simp.
Yeah, and then he had the worst part too, Nick. That nigga had to sneak up there to choke her. He ain't like he had access. That nigga had to sneak past security and everything else just to get to her ass, bro. Yeah, man. I felt the tense. Like I felt the tense. Like I was uncomfortable a little bit too, because as a viewer, it's like y'all a couple. Like it's the domestic part of it. But I also was like, you played with this nigga, like. He has been like a good soldier for you. He thought like y'all had something serious. He was stupid. Well, no, he's not. Because if I'm taking away Mike, just brought it down. He got used to in a way, but at the same time, it's still stupidity. So yeah, it was like I'm fed up, bro. I did everything you asked. You kept me in the dark. You lied to me. You deceived me. And like and the question he kept asking, she never really answers. How long have you known? Like that's like. Mm-hmm. that question, he just wanted that one answer. Like it's like, did you fuck him? That's that one question he was asking. Did you? That's all I need to know. I just need this answer. And
It's
you
worse
give
than
me the
that. It's
answer.
worse than that, Jay. For how he reacted,
How
he
good
was
was
like,
it?
it was how good was it? Or did you suck his dick?
Detail. How big was the dick?
No, y'all worse than me. I don't ask no details. I don't know. I don't need no shit up.
That's what he was asking. He was asking for the details, and she wasn't trying to answer. She so much so she started. Hey kid, she started bucking at him. She thought about some. You like them promotions, didn't you, nigga? You ain't say shit.
Yeah, but that was after he threatened to throw her ass out the goddamn window.
Yeah,
Hey,
You know, he said, "You tell me it's another room, I'm gonna throw your ass out the goddamn window."
that was cold.
and she shaped up real quick.
Told him all the truths.
Yeah, every single thing, man. Shout out to Cyril. Cyril he has anger issues at times, and I think he definitely felt betrayed by her. Because outside of the work and the job, in terms of how they met, was the one thing that created this division in their relationship. He thought he was doing one thing and she was doing another, and they had two completely different missions, serving the empire, but both of them were being used by the empire as well. She was being used as the trigger man for this whole thing, and he was being used as a pawn to get everything to where it is now. And for a hot second, it looked like she liked it. If that's me, it looked like she was like, "Oh wait, I haven't seen this side of you in a while, or if at all," until she realized, But nah, man, Cyril, he was over it, bro, and he was fed up, and he was done with it. And she rounded in the shape, but she went right back after his ass too. She still was looking out for his safety, because I think she felt guilt for what she did to him as well.
Yeah. So first off, I don't think there was any part where she liked it. I think her ass was scared as fuck. I think she was terrified because she didn't know that Cyril had this shit in him. She thought he was gonna kill her ass. I was shocked when he started actually choking her, like hands around her throat, choking her. I was like, God damn. But I think it makes sense that he would bug out like this, because he's basically a big fucking grown child. And he thought he found a woman that he thought respected him. And I think that's what hurt the most. She didn't respect him. And that fucking hurt. And I think the worst part for him was when she said, you like them promotions. You can see it on his face. I don't know this actor, but in this moment, he was incredible. Because you can just see what's going through his brain. He's like, oh, I thought I got to this place where people respected me on my own. I thought I finally made it. And then now you're telling me I've not only been a simp, I've not only been manipulated and lied to, I didn't even get to this level on my own. You got me here. And all as a big fucking joke because you thought I was stupid. Man, this whole scene.
I think the Empire picked him out, though, to use, right? That wasn't her doing.
Well, she was with him. I'm trying to remember now. I don't think so, because
he was a cast off. Because he fucked up too. And
I think somebody else brought him in, and they had to go. She just had to go along with what the Empire was saying.
He was working at ISB, and then he
looked into it.
Yeah, and then when she found out that he was looking into Andor, she started questioning him, and he basically started stalking her.
No. I'm talking about in terms of this in season 2, when because remember she said we're not, because I think she was wanting to know if they were going to tell him, and they were like, no, you can't tell him about
I don't think
this.
she wanted to, because the only time we hear them talk about it was Pratagant's reiterating, you can't tell Cyril about any of this. So she was definitely using him, because she was having him feed the information to the rebels.
I think she was doing that against her will. I think she wanted to tell him. I don't think
so.
she could tell him.
Nah, I don't think so. I think she would have done anything that she needed to do to get where she wanted to go.
Yep.
She cares about Cyril, but not enough to sacrifice her career.
She
I do
saw
agree
in
with
him.
that, but I do agree with that, which is why I think that she went along with it reluctantly. But I think she would have preferred to tell him.
Maybe,
No,
maybe
I
she
don't.
would have.
I disagree because she saw in him what was in her. She knew how to use it. Like he wants, like he was motivated, highly motivated to do something. Like she knew that feeling, and so she was like, I can use this for what I need to get done.
I don't think this was
Like,
Deidre's plan to use him.
It wasn't Deidre's plan to use him. No. So
But
I
she
think
went
to
through
Ken's
it.
point, if the Empire said, like if Pradagast was like, yeah, so you can go ahead and bring Cyril into this, I think she would have been like, oh, okay, cool. But I think she was also fine with Pradagast being like, don't tell him shit. And she was just like, okay, cool. Either way, she would have been good. But I don't think she had a big problem with lying to him.
Clearly.
Because
which
she's
is a
in
big
charge.
problem
She thought
is a
she
big
was in
problem in
charge
a
of the-
relationship.
Right.
That's a
Right.
big problem in a relationship that you're fine with lying to him. Like you don't really care about this person as much as you think you do.
Well, that was the power dynamic in their relationship. She was in charge, and or at least she wanted it to be that way. That's why she behaved that way towards him, and that's why she was getting so upset when Kaido was talking to her the way he was talking to her. She
Hey,
was getting embarrassed.
He was wrecked with her,
He
boy.
was very ruthless with her. But yeah, all right. Well, there's I think this is a sign of a good show because there's two completely different opinions about how to interpret this scene, and both opinions to me make complete sense. So I think that's how they did a good job with making very complex characters. But let's go ahead and jump into the shits. Nick, what did you think about how the massacre was initiated?
I thought it was really interesting because I think we in most of these Star Wars shows and movies we see the quote unquote bad guys be so indifferent on when they receive orders. Like we just see stormtroopers with no face, just the mask, and they just blasting people. But we got to see how even within the ranks of the Empire, like some of them was like, damn, bro, like, y'all really want us to go in here to do this shit? Cuz was like, yeah, buddy. Like, otherwise your ass gonna be out in the dumpster for the rest of your career. And he was like, all right, shit, fuck it. I like seeing that even with Shiro, like he kind of got to that point too. So it was interesting to see that the nuances and the layers that even people on the other side who are committing these acts, their reaction to it. And we'll get to Deidre's point too as well. But I thought this was great. I also like I'm always interested in the sets because this is also adding on to the lore in the world of Star Wars, like how they create barriers, like the designs of the fortress and the buildings and all that stuff, and how the doors was opening and closing and stuff like that. It felt really modern, but also futuristic. So I like seeing how they were literally separating themselves from Gorman, and Gorman was supposed to be known as a really high fashionable, elite place. And then you can see by the time we get to this point, it doesn't look like that. It looks like every other place they take over. You know what I'm saying? So I like how they kind of created that within this episode.
It was well planned out, and we get a chance to see them execute on that plan. Down to, of course, the manipulation with the media, Imperial News, and there were times where you can hear the two different stories being fed to people, and even to the point where they brought in children, like young soldiers that they knew would react to anything that was a threat to them because they never been in real life situations, so they don't have a lot of experience. So one, they're going to follow command as given, which most soldiers tend to do anyway. But once shit got real, they reacted in a very violent way, especially because they thought they were being attacked when it was the Imperials set this whole thing up from the very beginning with the sniper on top of the roof. So it was well played. And just even kind of to what you were saying, Nick, like they tightened everything. They squeezed everybody together to where it felt tight and constrained. And that created like a lot of tension and uncomfortableness among everybody, So Yeah, it was sharp, bro.
Yeah. Even from like the marching in the streets and like them yelling like I can't remember the beginning of the no, they said we are Gore, the galaxy is watching.
Hmm.
Like that phrase within itself is like yeah, I remember being at a part of a BLM movement and they were saying the world is watching.
Yeah.
And so it's just like it was like yeah, like that right there struck a chord with me as far as them like saying that in the streets. And once they even got to the plaza, like the change in like the dynamic of like we're yelling and then we gonna sing. Like it's just to calm the crowd down. Like you can feel all the different elements of it, and to know that the powers that be were just making moves behind the scene so they can frame this the way they want it to be framed. They begin the statements of like we already talked about the rumors. We were hearing statements that were being said from like the news that were being said from them, and then it was like we just need a reason. We just need one reason. And even though I knew what was gonna happen when they started singing, I was like, all right, maybe they're gonna find a way out. Like maybe it'll be a peaceful, it'll be like peaceful and cool. I was like, and maybe like, well, not find a way out per se, but it won't be as like it like a lot of them will like it'll be just a calm thing and it'll be easy to shape it as far as like this was the Empire's doing. But yeah, the singing helped me ease a little bit until it was like, all right, nah, y'all go outside. And once I saw the like them the frustration come back, I was like, yep, this gonna be the end of it. So yeah, all this was perfect because it just played with your emotions the whole well at least for me it played with my emotions like it ramped them up brought me back down but then it took me right back up to where I was at in the beginning.
Yeah, I think the way that they kicked this off with the sniper kind of just waiting for something to happen so he could shoot the one officer and kick everything off. I think that was brilliant. I think that the way that they showed that happen, the way that they made sure that they brought in inexperienced kids, I think that the way they had the protesters slash rebels being very ignorant and inexperienced, nobody knew what they were doing. It was a perfect storm for this to happen. And I think it was brilliant the way they played it, man. The way that they started shooting, and then the troopers started shooting immediately at just random people who were not even armed.
Mm-hmm.
The way it kicked off, but there was the one guy that he was hiding behind the statue and he was just had a gun in his hand and he was just crying and
Mm-hmm.
yelling. And then the very next scene, it cuts to him just being killed immediately. I think this whole scene was just beautifully laid out. Because
Mike,
these people, go ahead.
but even like the first shot, like the first person that was killed, like so the sniper shot at like basically friendly fire,
Yeah,
but like the person in retaliation that they shot, he didn't even shoot in the direction of where the shot came from. He
right. He
shot at
shot
somebody
the
that
flag.
yeah would do the flag. That's just like
Mhm.
he was already on edge and ready to kill somebody.
Yes.
Like he was killing somebody that was unarmed. Like that right there was just another like a gut wrench. Like damn, like you didn't even try to aim for somebody who may have a gun, who looks armed,
Mhm.
like who looks dangerous. But it was like nah, I have to retaliate because something just happened to me and I was ready to shoot somebody.
Yes, because this is how cops today behave. People can get upset all they want, but the Gilroys, they clearly are they're clearly basing this off of real life situations. This is how police will behave. You throw a rock at them, they shoot at you. And they may not even shoot in the direction that the rock came from. They'll just shoot because they're pissed, because they're human and they're upset. They start shooting. But this is very real. And yes, I do 100% think that the galaxy is watching is absolutely an homage or a reference to the world is watching, because it's not just BLM. A lot of different protest organizations, activist organizations use that phrase, the world is watching. So I think that this was impeccable. But when it got real, Ken, is when them KX droids showed up.
Mm.
What'd you think about that shit?
Man, I would have ran them
They
motherfuckers, bro.
tried.
Yeah, when them at that point, when you showing up with fucking Terminators, bro, hell no. You know what I loved about seeing them, because I don't think I've ever seen them used this way.
Mm-hmm.
And they were terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had some mobility to them. You saw the strength that they had. They were just picking people up like fucking.
Oh, we saw them pick somebody up.
Man, he threw this motherfucker and neck cracked and everything. Bro, he pimp slapped somebody. He pimp slapped some guy and he screamed like a girl. Ah! Bro, them things were fucking people up. He threw somebody against the wall and the fucking brick broke. And them motherfuckers weren't no joke, bro.
We got a taste of it in season 1.
You got what?
We got a taste of how violent they could be in season 1 when they captured Andor, like, and when they was grabbing all them people on the beach. Like, I think looking back on them, probably foreshadowed to like how violent they were going to be. Because when they grabbed Andor, he didn't give a fuck. He was just like, no, you're not supposed to be here. Like, yeah, it was violent then, but yeah, when them fuckers started walking, they ain't care what they was hitting, bro. Like, yeah, that running shit. You talking about some run? Yeah, them niggas was running. I would have just laid under a body or something, bro. Like, ain't no running was stopping them niggas, not at all.
What you think, Nick?
I thought it was really interesting how they can make them look like neutral, because when we see them for the first time, when Cyril goes into that room and it's just a room full of them, which is already kind of creepy, but then one just looks at him and he got like a blank ass face, but it looks scary as shit. Like it's almost like something that can rip your face off at any time it wants to. And then when you see them get the command to go out into the streets, first thing that motherfucker do, because I'm like, where's their weapon? They didn't have no weapons. That motherfucker just kicked that damn barrier and he killed about 2 of them motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. He tossed old girl like she was a neck bone in the trash. Like it was, hey, I was like, this shit is crazy. And Mike, I'm not trying to undercut that last point you made because you are 100% correct. But when Cuz was screaming with his gun in his head, and then you see him dead, I was getting weak because I'm thinking this punk ass nigga, when he found the strength of courage kid, he jumped out, he got popped.
He was talking a lot of shit too.
I was like,
he was like one of the main leaders, bro.
I was just they all do that until combat really comes, and then yeah, they get killed. But
what Mike Tyson say? Everybody got a plan till they get punched in the mouth.
Hit. Yep.
This
was a prime example. This was a prime example. But yeah, we haven't seen those things fight, you know. But Jesus, I didn't know they could do this at all. But like, there was even a scene where when Cyril is in the middle of the courtyard and he's kind of freezing, in the background, it's so cold because they didn't even focus on it. But in the background, you see one of them. He just picks somebody up by the back of their shirt and just slams them into the ground. And then just walks away. Like those things were the epitome of just like cold, emotionless, just evil, I guess. But I thought this scene was incredible. But let's get into the serious shit. Ken, did Cassian get his ass whooped?
Man, I was sitting there. I was like, man, Cassian can't let Cyril whoop his ass like this, bro. But he was going to work on Cassian.
It was a sneak attack, Ken. It wasn't straight up
until it wasn't, Nick.
Right.
Until it wasn't. Nah, he talk about getting tossed.
Bro.
Man, he was putting them hands on. He was beating the shit out of Cassian, bro.
No, he wasn't.
Nah,
are y'all?
I don't think so.
What?
I don't think so.
Cassian managed to come back and make it a fight, but Cassian was getting handled.
In the beginning, he was getting it like because he snuck him. Like Nick said, he snuck him in the beginning, but Cassian was giving that nigga them hands, bro. He was giving that nigga. It was just that Cyril, like it was Cyril
one
hit.
Time.
No, it was a couple of times
with the uppercut.
No, he was giving that work, bro. He was giving that nigga hands. It's the difference is Cyril ass actually had power, so when he finally did connect. And he hit that nigga. It looked harder. It looked worse. But Cassian was giving that nigga hands.
Who lost?
Cyril, because he hit him.
Cassian lost.
Nah, Ken.
Cassian lost. Cassian had to throw peanuts at him.
I ain't gonna let you do.
Thank you. He grabbed a handful of beer nuts and threw them at fucking
Bro,
Cassian.
ain't no rules in fighting. I hate when niggas
That's
do that.
not
Ain't
no
no rules
rules.
in fighting, nigga.
No
He
whole
is
shit, Mike.
what kind of bitch motherfucker throws nuts at
He
somebody?
trying to kill you. He trying to kill you.
He was
Ain't no
desperate.
rules in fighting.
That's desperation.
I'm
He's
telling
just grabbing what he could
He's like, I
find.
don't know what to do. You just throw these nuts. at
Mike,
this motherfucker.
you make excuses for a nigga who's desperate and is willing to do goofy shit. But you don't
I
understand
want to
Cassie.
finish, Nick, before I kill your point.
If you don't let Cassie throw a ball, Cassie got snuck. He got snuck because Cheryl only had 2 good hits. He had that tackle and
That's
he
a lot.
punched him right after that. After
Now,
that,
Cheryl had a
him
couple.
and
That's a lot.
Andy gave him a 2-piece and a biscuit. What do you
That's a lot.
mean?
So, first off, the reason I give other people credit for being desperate is because they're not trained. Cassian's been doing this shit for years and got handled. Now, I agree with y'all. He was snuck because Cyril tackled him, slammed his face into the ground, then slammed his head and then started choking him. So I give you that. But once that part was over, when they actually got to fist fighting, y'all lying if you don't think that Cyril held his own. This was a good fight.
We didn't say that. I didn't say he didn't hold his own. But
I didn't
y'all
say
not
you
gonna.
did. All I'm saying
Okay.
is you'd be lying if
Okay.
that's what you said or if that's how you felt. Because y'all were like, oh, after that, Cassian was giving him that work. Nah, they were giving each other that work. This was a very, very balanced fight. But in the beginning, Cyril was whooping Cassian's ass.
I think
Cassian, he was crawling to get to his gun and shit. He's like, oh, I ain't never been hit like this before. Let me crawl to this gun. And Cyril was like, nah, bitch, here's a whole pillar on your back.
Exactly. So how you gonna get mad at Cassian for using peanuts?
Because it's peanuts, Jalen. That's
But he got snuck and he was on the ground and he got hit. He was trying to grab. He got snuck and he was on the ground and he was trying to find whatever he could to get off the ground. And when
This
he got
was
up,
after
he
that.
went for his gun.
This was
No, it
after
ain't.
that, Jalen.
Yes,
he
it was.
jumped up and grabbed a handful of nuts, bro. Who does that in a fight? That's not gonna hurt nobody.
No, he didn't. He was on the ground. It was the glass.
No,
more
he
so the
got
glass
up. Y'all gotta watch it again. He got up, went to the bar, and grabbed some shit off the bar.
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
He
y'all
did
talking about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you was talking about the initial hit when he
Yeah,
was
that
getting
initial when he
choked.
grabbed the glass to get him off him at the top at the beginning of the fight.
No, after that, he jumped up and grabbed a handful of fucking beer nuts and trail mix and threw it at him.
It's the
And
fight.
It didn't even phase Cyril. Cyril was
Hey,
like, you thought
Mike.
insulted me? Are you serious?
Mike, Craig threw a brick at Debo. You use whatever you got. You can get your hands
get
on.
But we know a brick hurts. Who thinks a bunch of fucking trail mix is gonna hurt somebody? Cassian was desperate because he ain't never been hit like that. Cyril had some
Man.
work.
I will say this. I'll say 2 things. One, I was impressed with Cyril, but we also feel like we're grading Cyril on the curve because in this like 20-minute part of this whole series, it's the most that we see Cyril get down. He over here choking women. He over here beating up Andy. I'm like, all right, I don't know who this nigga
Equality,
is.
Nick. and it's probably a good thing that this guy was as repressed as he was. You really want that running around? Shit, that was
When they was on their
Alright,
feet,
Andrew,
Cassian
everyone that's
gave
picked
him
on
some
him.
hands, man. I died in that hill. When they was on their feet, Cassian was giving that nigga hands. But I get y'all point.
I remember I remember the part you're talking about because I was like, okay, there you go, Cassian. It was just everything. It was everything sandwiched between that part. It wasn't looking good, and yeah, it was a wrap. It was a wrap for Cassian. Cassian got saved.
I like that they didn't make it to where, because if you ever before this episode said, oh yeah, at some point Cyril and Cassian are gonna have a fist fight, we would have all been like, oh, it's gonna be a 2-second fight because Cassian's gonna beat his ass. But I think it was actually really dope that they didn't do that. They had it be a fair fight, even though yes, he snuck him. But once they got up and they started actually throwing hands, I thought it was pretty balanced. But Jalen, did you expect my boy Cyril to go out like Omar?
I did expect it to happen, but who it happened from, I was kind of that was good to see. That was good to see. He got his get back for being thrown in the street, like nigga. Hey, bro, he got something out of it. He probably died later on, but he got something out of it in that moment. So. But I will say, Cassian, what the fuck you asking? Who are you? Like, nigga,
That's
you about
cold,
to get
bro.
shot. You about to get shot. But
You want to know if
thought-
somebody just beat the shit out of you, Jalen? You didn't want to know who it was for no. Like he
Bro,
just got attacked for no reason
Yeah.
And I
in
love
his
that.
eyes.
I love that scene because it reminded me of like Wanda with Thanos in
Yeah.
Endgame. It was just like, I've been obsessed with you for a long time. I know everything about you, and you don't know anything about me. That kind of makes you think like, what was I even think? And at that point, Cyril didn't even. He was questioning everything at that point. So the fact that the guy that he did, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that was brilliant. It was stupid to hesitate, but it was brilliant.
it was this. It disarmed him. I don't know, man. I would never think to ask that question because I'm about to die. Like I'm looking down the barrel of my death. Like, all right then.
Well, I'm with Nick. I thought it was good because Cyril has been mission oriented since day one, and Cyril plays such a pivotal role in Cassian's origin story. And has been chasing this guy across the universe. It was a one-way mission for him. And it shows how he has this tunnel vision to a certain degree about like when he gets fixated on things. He would not let Cassian go, even in this moment where Cassian is part of the rebellion. He's seeing what the Empire is doing to people that you could say, grew a connection and a fondness with because he's been on that planet for a year. And he did not want to see them go out like that. So his whole vision of what the Empire is has been destroyed in this moment. But when he sees Cassian, the only thing he could think about was whooping his ass and getting at him. And then when he was like, "Who are you?" it struck at him because Cyril's whole purpose in life that we've seen is to be somebody. And even in that moment, he turned into nobody.
This is true.
I didn't even think about that, kid.
Yeah.
That shit funny as fuck.
And the saddest thing about it is he died with the realization that his entire life was wasted. He thought his mama cared. Mama was saying she didn't really like him like that. He thought Dedra cared. Dedra was lying and using him. Then he's like, okay, I finally got the guy that started all of this shit. And the dude looks up at him and says, "Who are you?" And then he died. He got shot in the head. He died with the last thought being, this motherfucker that I've been obsessed with doesn't even know who I am. And it goes back to that whole thing that we learned last season, the whole idea of the axe forgets, the tree remembers. Andor has been living in this man's mind for years and had no idea. This was the perfect way for Cyril to go out. I don't think that Cyril was a bad person, a bad guy, a terrible villain, whatever. He was just somebody that was neglected and underdeveloped and died knowing that he didn't fucking matter. That's some fucked up shit, bro. And Andor, when he was getting carried away, was still looking at him like, bitch, hold on. Wait. Just wait a minute. Who is this motherfucker? It's not, he's not Krennic. He looks familiar, but who are you, bro?
Hey, Mike, on one point, the way they took out Omar in The Wire is probably the worst way to take out a great character like that.
No, it wasn't.
But when you talk about that with Cyril, it's like it was that way where it was like it came out of nowhere. We knew it was probably his time was probably coming to an end anyway. But the way they did it was just like, damn, the streets, the streets balance its own checkbooks. You know what I'm saying? Like everything, like we've never spent as much time with the character that doesn't matter until we get through the story. So for him to go out the way he came in is, again, that's what I'm saying, bro. I never seen writing like this in Star Wars. Like,
it's brilliant. It's brilliant character writing. All right, we are going super. I knew it was going to be long. But okay, there's only a couple more points in this episode, then we'll try to get through the last one. So once again, Wilman's bitch ass is over here trying to get himself some vagina. And the droids attack, and Cassian and Wilman have to run to escape, and they're saved by the one dude that killed Cinta. Did y'all have anything to add to this scene? Was this cool?
It was a cool scene. I mean,
Frustrating just seeing Will try to go after that woman like that.
Jesus, man. This
Yeah, that it was just like, bro, what are you doing? But I guess it worked out as we found out. But yeah, it was frustrating. But I think it was all just to set up the robot thing.
Oh, of course, because that was actually a retcon. That's not how they met in the comics, but we won't get into that. Jalen, what did you think about Daedra having that panic attack at the end of the episode as Cassian's leaving?
I think it was a culmination of things. I think, for one, like, obviously Cyril just got done choking her ass. She was still recovering from that. She witnessed genocide in front of her face. Like, literally, that's what she just watched. And, like, now she's looking for commands on what to do next. Like, she's a soldier at the end of the day. Like, and she's sitting there waiting and doesn't know what to do. So now you're processing all this in real time instead of being given commands on what I need to do next. She's sitting there trying to figure out, well, what the like all these things just happened to me at one time. I don't know what to do with none of this because I never really have to do anything with it. I'm just told what to do. And so it was perfect. It was perfect for me in that moment to see like she has to react now to everything moving forward. Like, does she become somebody against everything that she just did? Because now she has to bear the weight of hurting somebody that y'all think she cared about, that I don't think she cared about, but she ended up hurting that person. Like, seeing this genocide in front of her face, she didn't just give commands, she had to do all that. Like, does this make a change in her and moving forward? So this was also a great scene just to see that, because when she was waiting, right? She was just waiting on like she was waiting for his call, right? Prior to get her call. No, okay.
I think she was just in that room bugging the fuck out, and then she was trying to get herself together. Her arm was shaking like she was having a stroke or some shit. Yeah. What'd you think, Nick?
No, I thought this was like the scene where she realized she wasn't in control at all. Like, everything was just happening to her. Like, even like, I think with Shrill choking her out, I think it choked her in the reason. Like, this shit is out of my control. If this nigga got the upper hand on me, and if I got an answer to this nigga now, that's the last nigga she thought she had the answer to until he put his hands on her. And then at that point, it's just like, what control do I have in any of this? You know, I'm just witnessing this now, and like a lot of this episode was like her just watching shit happen. Not her commanding shit. Cuz came in that room talking about, so listen, I'm the trigger, you the finger, motherfucker. Like, you already
that was a cold line.
Yeah, it was.
He put her in her place, sat, nigga.
I think going back to what was discussed earlier, I don't think she wanted to do any of that shit. And she was reluctant, but she is a soldier, and soldiers follows commands. And then she saw everything that happened. She just had a domestic violence argument with her significant other, and one that, again, in service of the empire, she had to lie and manipulate in order to do her job, and it led to distrust and ultimately his death. And even after all of that, she was still concerned for his well-being. She didn't want him to go back out there because she said it's not safe. And she kept looking for him and trying to get him back in the room. And I think at that moment, there was a realization of loss, that she lost Cyril. She witnessed genocide, as Jalen said. And then when this story is written, she may be the one that receives all of the blame because it was given at her command. And that was the one thing that kept saying to her over and over again. He's just there to execute, tactical, whatever. But you're the one that's going to give the commands. And I think she may end up basically being Cyril.
Yeah, I think that this does show that she cared. Because I think the way that they played this out with her having the panic attack, and then they show his mother crying, I think that we're supposed to walk away saying that they both cared about him, just in this weird fucked up, abusive way. And the fact that we see the mom still has the spider that Cyril gave her on her desk, I think is kind of an indication that, you know, even though she was nasty and mean to him, she did care about him. But I think that was a very interesting way to end this episode. It ends with the face of Cyril's mom, with a reporter talking about the price they'll pay for their own safety. So I think that this was a really, really interesting way to end the scene. Because earlier in that scene where she's sitting there watching the news and she has the spider right next to her, it immediately cuts to Cyril and he's arranging the spiders in his apartment. So it's like Cyril is growing into having this respect for the Gorman people. She's growing into having this more of an affection for her son. But in both situations, it's too fucking late because now Cyril's dead.
That's what I felt bad for when she dropped that Denzel tear. I was like, damn, this hurt. I ain't give a fuck about Cyril, but like I fuck with her. So her losing, her not knowing or her finding out she lost her son was like, damn.
Yeah, this was very sad. So we're gonna get to the last episode. This is episode 9. This is Welcome to the Rebellion. And this one, I'm gonna start off with Mon's story. It starts off with her. They're on Coruscant, and we see that the Gorman senator is being arrested. What did you think, Jalen, about the conversation between Mon Mothma and Bail Organa? You're muted.
So now my scene comes back around that I mentioned earlier, huh? Okay.
Yeah. 2 episodes later.
Yeah. I like this. I like this conversation, especially because he's trying to figure out. Well, she realizes what's going on, and they both know they need to do something. They have to do something. Mm-hmm. Like something has to be done. But I was wondering, like, what exactly would they be able to do? At least on his end, I was like, all right, what exactly can y'all do in this moment? Because you can't really speak out because you'd be dead. And watching also the other senator get arrested in this moment because of the way that everything's been spun, everything's been said, I was just more intrigued about, all right, if y'all do speak out, and they were talking about how he has to leave, I was like, if you do speak out and you help her, what's going to happen to you, boss? Like, you going to help her and you going to stay? I didn't know if I could trust him or not. And that's what kept going on in my head is like, are you good in this? Because you're going to allow her to go out on the forefront and you stay behind? That's not something I would have signed up for. Like, I wouldn't have trusted him in that moment.
I think that he's just more aware of the repercussions of speaking out than she was. She was moved to take some sort of action, and he knew what was up, and that's why. And I think he has a family too, so he had to look, and she does too. But he made a wise decision to not give that all up, and probably feel like he can do more on the inside than on the outside. So yeah, I thought it was smart, and I think he analyzed the situation and felt it was best for him not to go anywhere and learn to deal with that himself. And maybe even seeing that guy get arrested, he was like, shit, I don't want to be a part of that. So, because that's ultimately what's going to end up happening. And that guy should have listened, but he didn't. And look at where it got him. So he's done.
Do you get anything different from that, Nick?
I don't know, because I know who the character is, both of them at this point. So you know how the things turned out for them. It just felt like he was just bullshitting, and like he was just she was like, "Oh, so you gonna come with me right here?" I was like, "I'm gonna stay." She was like, "Why?" He was like, "Just because too soon." I was like, she was like, "Shit hitting the fan. I'm about to say some shit. It's gonna blow the whole fucking gasket." He was like, "Yeah, that's for you." That's like a personal problem. They got to do with me. I don't know. I just felt like he was just he was trying to be supportive, but like, that's good for you. That's your path, nigga. I'm gonna do me. I don't know. I just took it as, okay, we're just gonna get through the motions to get her to this speech.
So I'll admit I'm not sure why he needed to stay. I'm still confused about that part. I do know that Bail Organa is already involved in the rebellion. So is his daughter, Princess Leia, his adopted daughter. Um, so I don't think he's like a punk. He's definitely not like, oh shit, I don't want some fucked up shit to happen to me, so I'm gonna stay and act like everything's all right. He was volunteering to introduce her to give the speech because she couldn't have done it without him.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to remember that if the Empire wanted to come down on them, he's going to be in trouble too. So, but I'm still confused about why he was so insistent upon staying. So
That's my whole point. That's my whole point. Because it didn't feel like it was explained either, Mike. It was like, that's why I said, like, I know who these characters are and I know what role they play. But it just seemed like that was just like, and all this season, like that was one of like the one random bullshit dialogue that I don't know what it did except for let us know that he's going to introduce her to the crowd and she's going to have her speech.
Well, if there's one thing I know this show has not done so far is throw out some random lines. So I'm sure it makes sense. We're just not getting it. So hopefully somebody can leave a comment explaining what this part meant, unless this is just something that they're going to talk about in the next chunk of episodes. But I'm confused. So hopefully somebody else can help me, help us, because it sounds like we're all kind of confused about this. But so Mon finds a listening device in her office and she smashes it. But then she goes to the plaza and she meets with Luthen. Ken, what did you think about this conversation?
She's working on a speech and she realized that Luthen is being Luthen, is up to running his own game plan, his own agenda, has her being spied on under the guise of protection and trying to help her out in the situation, but is also self-serving as well. And she realizing that, just wanted to remind him that he killed her friend. He's like, you probably don't even remember Tay. The only time we see him is in the recaps. That was it. We haven't seen him since then, bro. And she evoked his name, and I think she realized that Luthen is probably one that can't necessarily be trusted either. But it was a really interesting conversation with him referring to Tay as a false savior or prophet or something like that, and just him kind of going through his position and his role in this whole process as well.
Did you get something different at all from that, Jalen?
I understood her skepticism too. He came with saying that there's someone like that was like compromised, and even finding out that he still had eyes on her in that moment. Like, it's like, Luthen, I can't trust any fucking thing from you. Like, you're always there's always something mistrustful about you. So I understood her hesitancy and trying to get, like, I want to trust you, but I can't because you keep giving me reasons not to. Nigga, like, I don't even know who's around the corner that you may have. And even when she mentioned Tay, it's like, you did that without me thinking, like without like my consideration. Like, I said I wanted to handle it another way. So are you just gonna take me off the board like that person? Because now you see me as a threat. Because she mentioned that too. It's like, I'm a threat now if I actually say what's going on. So if she gets arrested, and so it was just like it was a very much back and forth. I didn't even know if to trust Luthen or not. I was like, yeah, I don't know neither. Like, cause nigga, you take people off the board like that. So if I was in her shoes, I would have been skeptical too, whether I should believe him or not.
What you think, Nick?
I think this was another great scene in these 3 episodes as far as you work in secrecy for so long. I think Luthen mentioned something like that. Like, you start questioning everything, or like you mistrust like a lot of things. And we're seeing all these characters that we've looked at and are learning about kind of come into their own as far as questioning the system, questioning the purpose, questioning the cause for how much either they've lost or how much they've been feel like they've compromised. And I think Ma was just like, nigga, at this point, nigga, I don't even know if I could trust you. You got all these spies around me that you ain't even let me know about. Like, I thought that was my homeboy. Go to find out he fucking with you. Mm-hmm. And then, but at the same time, I'm also kind of like, you signed up for this. you know what I'm saying? I know we talked about this in a previous episode, but as far as like what you sign up for and then not realizing the full consequences of that, like when you went to the spy game and you trying to do some rebellious shit, bro, like it ain't easy, it ain't sweet, and I think my mouth just realized like, damn, I really sacrificed it all.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely signed up for it. I think it made sense that she was a little bit hurt because she'd been with this assistant this whole time, and to
Since the
find out,
wedding,
huh?
since the wedding,
Right, and to find out that he's just one of Luthen's spies, and then I like when she said, "I'm afraid of you the most." Because she realizes that like she has a lot of cards in her hand, but all those cards can be taken away real quick if Luthen doesn't like what's happening with her. If she gets arrested after doing this speech, then Luthen's fucked. So what does that mean for her? So I liked all of this. And did y'all notice that Luthen showed up and he wasn't wearing his disguise anymore? This is the first time that he's gone out in public in Coruscant and he's not wearing that wig or pretending to be this art dealer. He comes out and he's just like, fuck it. I'm talking to you man to man straight up.
Yeah, and I kind of like that because that he was in black and she was in white. And it's just like, is Luthen a bad guy or is he just do bad guy things? Like, yeah, that was interesting color choice by them too.
So she fires her assistant and then she meets with Bail, who gives her the plan about leaving with his people, his crew. Ken, what did you think about Mon Mothma's speech?
Hey, Mon Mothma King, bro, she was killing it, bro. Like, she delivered that speech. The only thing is she was taking too damn long to get to the point.
Exactly.
I was like, God damn, you can speed this shit up.
You gotta build up.
I know, man, but and maybe she didn't know they were going to cut off the communications or whatever. I'm like, I thought it was tense. I was hoping she'd get a chance to finish the speech and then get it cut off, because sometimes you see these in shows where they get ready to get the speech and the main point isn't heard. And I thought it was really interesting how everything that the Empire has done, they brainwashed everybody around them, because she's getting booed and yelled at by people in there that she's talking to when she called the shit out for what it is. And then she name dropped. I was like, yo. Like she didn't hide it at all. She was like, Emperor Palpatine. That's the guy.
Nick, what you think?
I thought the same thing, Ken. I was like, she out here getting her Fred Hammond's, you know what I'm saying, all his speech, all that shit like that. And it took her a long ass time to get up there too. That slow ass little disc that she's sitting on. I was like, if we was in a rush, Jalen, to get a message out, this the last motherfucker. You can see how slow government works, literally. But I thought this was a great scene. I also liked how Luthen told her, like, early on, he was like, I know I've been lying to you this whole time, but I'm telling you the truth right now. Don't trust that detail that's gonna take you home. Somebody fucked up in there. And I love how she was like, fuck it, I'm gonna still go through it. And she did give a hell of a speech, though. It was a good speech. And I know Palpatine, I know the dude at the board who was trying to shut it down, I know he did. Because I know Palpatine, like, nigga, who let that message get out there? Somebody, I know that nigga gone.
That's the guy I thought was Greg that was trying to get them to shut down the message.
That don't look nothing like that damn Greg, bro. That don't look nothing like Greg. Did you get any key quotes from this speech, Jalen?
Yeah, like when she was talking about, like, there's an abyss between what we're being told and what's the truth. Like, man, bruh, like, and she was just like, and then she saying, like, when that happens, like, a monster can come along and just make this truth, like, make the truth whatever it wants to be. Like, those lines were just cold. What she was saying, like, the writing, every time someone like just takes a monologue. Like, they kill it. So that conversation y'all had on Sunday, this show make me think, damn, like, in a couple, like, these monologues here, you could probably use this show as a whole bunch of monologues that have just been amazing. Like, so yeah, I did want to point something out. I don't know if you go get to it or not, Mike, but I was watching the show and my girl was sitting next to me. She wasn't paying no attention. She on her phone doing whatever. when the black dude first came on stream, the dude that's supposed to help her escape, they got popped.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
She was like, "That nigga got a head on him." That shit took me.
So much so,
Right,
so much so, I thought he was a bad guy off
I-
rip.
Because he has a big head.
Yeah,
Looking like the leader.
yeah, he just certain abnormal features be like, oh, he a bad guy.
I didn't even notice his head was that big.
Oh.
I'm
That's
gonna
like-
go.
It was big enough that my girl wasn't watching TV and she noticed it. That's how big that shit.
I thought he had a hat on in one scene. They just told him, take it off. Take it off. Just take it off. Nigga, it ain't doing no justice.
Oh
you know,
my
Ken, they had them little hats. It has like a lieutenants and all that. And I was the only thing I was saying for the ghost of modest media for this podcast. They did a lot of black and brown people wrong in this season, Mike. I don't care what you say. They popped old brown girl last episode about that goofball's decision and when they were trying to steal the weapons and shit and for Gorman, and how she just died goofily. And then they got they either if you black and brown in this series, you either gonna die in a random way or you're gonna be a bad guy. And that's
Cassian's still around.
He's ambiguous. And it's called Andor. And it's called Andor. Yeah, that's the only reason why he's still alive.
Saul's still around too. So, but I mean, I back to the. I'm sorry, I took this on a tangent, but that speech, like, and for her to call it out too, like, she ain't mix no words. She said that was genocide that happened, like straight up,
voluntary genocide.
Yeah, and like she's like, and it could happen to any of y'all motherfuckers. Like, yeah, this here, man. Like, yeah. Palpatine was like, yeah, she off the map. She gone.
Yeah.
Gilroy is definitely going out of his way to make points with this show, and I love the fact that Star Wars fans are getting mad about it. I fucking love that because it just shows how fucking stupid and how much y'all don't pay attention. You know, Star Wars has been political from the absolute day one, and it's just Tony Gilroy is just making it extremely impossible to ignore. But yeah, the distance between what is said and the truth has become an abyss. I love that line. The loss of an objective truth is the most dangerous. I love that one. And then when she said the death of truth is the ultimate victory of evil. Yeah, I mean, this whole fucking thing was an unbelievably good monologue. But when she said that shit about what happened on Gorman was an unprovoked genocide, I think that says it all, you know. But yeah, man, I thought that whole speech was dope. But then we're gonna jump. Oh, go ahead.
You talking about Star Wars? I just want to mention this. What Star Wars fans remind me of, if what you're saying is true, is niggas who read comics and be like, I don't want politics in my comics, or I don't want politics in anything they watch. It's just like, bro, everything has always been political if you really sit back and watch it. Like, there's always been a piece of, like, because hell, Captain America was talking about killing Nazis. Like, he was based off of that. So yeah, it's always these dumb fucks who just look at it as entertainment, but it always has pieces of political nature in them.
Yeah, I think that people just want things to be entertaining until it actually starts pointing at their own life. Because it's only conservatives that are mad about Star Wars being political. It's not liberals or Democrats or even leftists. It's always the conservatives that are like, I don't want all these politics. But you sat there and you watched the original trilogy for 40 fucking years and had no idea that this was about politics. So bad so that George Lucas had to go back and make the entire prequel trilogy and show y'all that it was all about politics. Because people are fucking, they have cognitive dissonance. They don't want to actually think about this kind of stuff. They just want to see laser swords and motherfuckers, you know, fighting and getting chopped up and flipping around and shit. But it is what it is. But so yeah, we'll talk about Cassian and him talking about how he's done. Nick, were you surprised when he said that he was done when he was talking to Clea? And were you taken aback by how she was able to convince him to stay?
I wasn't surprised because he was trying to be done from, like, I think one of the beginning of these episodes when he was with Bix. And you could tell, like, again, he's in a tiresome phase of his life where Y'all got me charged up. Y'all got me a part of the rebellion or the resistance. I did my part. He was always telling motherfuckers like, I got receipts, nigga. He was a kid. He was like, when have I never come through?
Yep.
He was like, I did my time, nigga. When do I get to live my life and make my own choice? And then she was talking about some. I thought that's what we was fighting for. Nigga, I ain't ask you for all that. You see the biddy I got at home. I'm trying to make sure we good, and I'm ready to be done with this shit. And I think that's an interesting question. Not to say we need to answer it, but it was just like, can you ever like fully just do your part in the resistance? Say like, all right, I'm done. I'm retired from it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or do you always have to keep fighting? That's what I kept thinking about in these scenes.
What do you think, Ken?
It was surprising to see like he's just tired. I mean, it's been years, and even later on, I think he realized, and maybe he's just emotionally drained from witnessing what he saw on Gorman, and he's like, man, I'm just over it. Like Luthen done got on his nerves, Wilmons done got on his nerves because he don't listen. He went back to Ferrets and he lost everything and lost everybody. And I told y'all, and now a whole damn planet, a whole colony is wiped out because of Cassian. So I think he's just over it, man, and just mentally exhausted. He just wanna chill.
You got something different, Galen?
You blaming Cassian for Gorman?
He went there, and what happened?
No, it made sense because I mean, think about it. He was supposed to be going to Gorman to do one job, and then he ends up in the middle of this. And even knowing, because he already had talked to Luthen about it, about like what they were getting ready to do and what it was going to lead to when they got back on that ship. And so like I end up in the middle of this after I gave you a warning. I am exhausted. Like I'm always giving my all to your causes. Like to Mike's point earlier about he's gonna still be a part of the resistance, but it's the Luthen part. It's Luthen. It's just like, bro, I'm always cleaning up your messes. Like I'm always helping you, and I'm put in it, and then like I end up losing more than you end up losing, and that's part of why he's always frustrated with him. To the point of when we saw in the last batch, he didn't give a fuck when he went and talked to him. It was like I'm the person that's losing this, and Luthen doesn't care because he feels like he's going to have to give everything. So I completely understand why Cassian feels the way he feels.
Yeah, I do too. Although I did think about it, and if Cassian went there and did what he did without the outside agitators, the same shit would have happened. Because that whole parade was happening, the guards were there. If Cassian killed Deidre right there, they would have started opening fire immediately. So I think any way it goes, that massacre would have happened, and I think Luthen knew that, which is why he sent Cassian there. So we didn't get to touch on that in the last episode. But speaking of Luthen, Cassian lands on Coruscant, and he has a conversation again with Luthen where he's basically like, I'm willing to die for this shit. You need to get on board. But let's go ahead and jump into the escape. Nick, what did you think about how the escape went down with Cassian getting Mon Mothma out of the Senate?
I loved it. This is a great way of showing, like, I love how calm Andy is. He is a leader. I love how he's developed as a leader because he was calm as hell, kid, when he was popping up motherfuckers and he kept looking back at Mon Mothma and she was just so shocked. And he was like, give me your hand. Come on. Like, what you talking about? What's going on? Like, we all right. That nigga dead. And she was like, you just killing niggas. He was like, nigga, welcome to the rebellion, motherfucker. Like, that's what we've been doing while you've been up here drinking your wine and all this other goofy shit. We've been actually doing this shit in the streets, getting out the mud. Like, I love that this escape because it was showing, I think it was Mon Mothma's first time seeing like what this shit really looked like when it get ugly.
Yeah. He saved her life. That much is for certain. And but yeah, like when he just popped old girl, and he was like, "Who want what?" and everybody else. He was just willing to take out everybody else. But he did my boy.
It's Corliss.
Lawrence.
He was like, what's his name? She said, Corey. He was like, hey, bro, we got her.
we did it. Mission accomplished.
Nah, he earned that bullet.
He did. He did.
Oh, man,
She already. She gave him the go ahead when she told him that he was the agent.
She ain't give him the go ahead.
Nah, she didn't know what he was going to do.
No, I'm saying gave him the validity as far as to shoot him, because with him being ISB, he was like, well, he on the wrong side. Like she didn't make it seem like he's innocent. Like we could trust him. She made it seem
I
like
got you.
he's an agent. So like he's like, all right, I'm gonna kill him.
But yeah, the whole thing was escaping. And actually they kind of working together because that was her call. She was like, fuck the loading docks. You know, so yeah, Andor thinks quickly on his toes.
Nah, Cloris got exactly what he needed, because we don't know what he was planning, because he had a gun in the car. So we don't know what he was finna do. He might have shot Mothma the second she got in that car. So, but yeah, I love the escape too. I love that standoff with the ISB officer, because I was like, how are you gonna get out of this? And I thought it was brilliant that the other guy, who I'm already forgetting his name, I know I had it written down somewhere, but her assistant, when he just yelled out, she's a rebel agent, giving Andor enough time to shoot his ass when she turned around. I thought that was dope. But yeah, so did y'all put together that agent was Lonnie's agent? Because when the ISB people were bugging out and they were like, where is Jung's agent? Where is Jung's agent? And I was like, who is Jung? And when I Googled it, it was Lonnie Jung. So Lonnie was the guy that was Luthen's spy.
Oh,
But that's how Luthen knew that there was a spy in the
detail.
in Bail Organa's detail. Because I was confused about that until the second time I watched it. And I was like, oh, wow, this show is so incredibly detailed. But yeah, so that's how he knew. And I love that scene where they were leaving and she drops her blue coat and then he put the brown one on and said, welcome to the rebellion. I thought that was hard, because she's not a politician anymore. Now she's actually in the shit. Now she's a fucking warrior. Now, they didn't really discuss what's up with her husband or what's going to go down with her kid.
That's what I was thinking about.
Episode, I don't know.
Maybe they would have to, because I keep on forgetting, like, this did kind of feel like almost somewhat of a season finale, whatever. But I was also thinking, I was like, you sold your daughter just a couple years ago and your husband ain't shit.
Yep.
So this gotta hit the fan quick. They watch TV too.
Hey, y'all feel like she could have prolonged this a little bit if she squashed that bug? Because when she got to find the bug in her office, I was like, why did you? I get it. It was probably like a knee jerk reaction. But I was like, why not just let the bug sit there and watch what you say in the office?
Because she's not deep into this. So she's just like the people y'all were giving shit about before, which is the Gorman rebels. She's just as green as them. So I don't think because I thought the same thing, Jalen. The second she smashed it, I was like, well, that was stupid. Because now they're going to know it's smashed.
Exactly.
Why the fuck did you do that? She did that because she doesn't think all the way ahead. She's just like, they're bugging me? I can't believe this. Not me. Psh. Stupid. But it makes sense when you think about who she is. You know, it's just like when you see some old rich Karen get upset when the cops actually arrest her after she went off on some black people. She's like, wait, y'all not supposed to do this shit to me. You're supposed to do this shit to other people. So I actually liked that's how she reacted. But Andor does get her out, and they get back to the safe house, and we see old bitch ass Wilman there. He done got shot, and as you can see, the girl's just fine. She's sitting there like, oh, he needs a hospital. He's fucked up. I was like, this dude Wilman,
hey, bro,
twice, bro.
Bro, we lost we lost Andy's best friend, but
Bravo.
we keeping William, bro. That's
Jeez,
what they could have switched that out, because I'm like, bro, he is fuck him. He was doing drugs with Forrest Whitaker,
Bruh.
and then all of a sudden now he
the last person that you should ever do drugs with is a brother with a lazy eye. You don't know if he was born with that shit or if it happened because he was huffing that shit. So why would you sniff what he is sniffing?
What's funny is he told you he was huffing that shit
Right
today, and you still did it.
fool. I can't stand this motherfucker, bro.
Yeah.
Ken or Jalen, you got anything to add to Wilman being a bitch?
Nah, I said my piece.
No, it was it was good to see him alive. I didn't know he was gonna make it out.
Yeah, forget the
I
fuck
didn't know
out
he
of
was
here.
gonna make
Oh.
it out, bro. I thought it was a wrap for him.
It needs to be.
It should have
needs
been.
to be.
I don't disagree, but I thought they were gonna kill him off.
Well, the show's not over yet.
Yeah, I'm
but
about to say.
yeah,
Shit.
I did like the conversation that he had with Mon Mothma, though, where she was like, I don't know how I can ever thank you for this. And he said, make it worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I fucked with that. That was a good line. I know Nick and Jalen, y'all did not watch Rebels, but Ken, you did. Did you recognize them talking about the Gold Squadron?
I did recognize that name. Yep.
So now, because we already know this is well, I guess it's a spoiler, but y'all not ever gonna watch all the seasons of Rebels. But in Rebels, they show her giving the speech, and we know that the Ghost Crew from Rebels are the ones that come and get her. So part of me thought that they might make a cameo in this, but it didn't happen. That's okay. But I definitely thought that was pretty cool. So Cassian gets back to the Rebel base on Yavin and starts with his "I want to quit" shit again. And Bix bounces. Nick, how did you feel about Bix leaving? And did you understand why she left?
Hell no, I didn't understand. She ain't shit for this, Mike. She ain't shit. Let me make my own choice. What did Andy been saying that all this time, kid? He said, I want to make my own decisions. And she took his choice away, Mike. She took his choice away. She was like, I don't make a choice for us. That selfish ass motherfucker. After all he did for your ass, like he was over there sucking on that glass dick. Like he was trying to cater to you with your goofy ass. They know no better. You gonna leave him in his time. Mike, you see how he was running like Forrest.
He was running like goddamn, like he was in Mission Impossible, bro. The only thing missing was the theme music. Dun 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 dun.
But he ran like Tom Cruise in about all his movies. That nigga was upset his biddy left, Mike. That we all know that video was recorded hours ago. She been gone. That nigga was still running like he could catch up. That's how much he loved her. I was hurtful. She ain't shit. She talking about some I'm doing this because I'm choosing the rebellion. Go ahead, somebody go ahead. I turned on Bix this episode, Mike. She ain't. I don't care. We don't even see her again anywhere. They better not show up in no other shit. I don't want to see none of that shit no more. She gone. Stay gone.
Look, Nick, this is what I was saying when I compared Will to
Andy?
To Andor. He picked the woman over the rebellion. He picked her, and he wanted to stay with her. So he made his choice based on what he was getting and the love that he had for her. And being the good woman that she is, Nick, she picked the rebellion and left his ass alone because she knew that as long as she was around, he was not going to go through with it. Because what did he tell her before she gave him the last little bit and sent his ass to sleep? He said, I know that I have just been getting lucky this whole time. And at some point, my luck is going to run out. And we know that to be true. And there was some foreshadowing that got to him too. But also, she also remembers the conversation with the Force healer or whatever as well, that he's supposed to be a messenger. And he's there. So she's taking all of that shit into account, and she's realizing that she's the kryptonite and that she needs to bounce. Because if she doesn't, he gonna give all that shit up, man.
That's bullshit.
Hey, and don't forget why we and I know that Will just met Drina, whatever her name was, but Andor went back for bits too in season 1. So he did the same dumbass shit that Will did as well.
But we know, like Mike said, they've been known each other for
I know.
all
I
their
said
lives.
it. I'm just saying the actions were similar, Nick. The context is different.
He saved her for no reason, just so her to leave his ass. Go ahead, Jay.
The same thing. Is it a young person thing or what?
Nah, ain't no young person thing. And Nick, I think Nick's speaking from a place of hurt.
Wait,
Nick woke up. Nick woke up with that text in the middle of the night. She said she wasn't coming back.
We
It's
talking
not
about
USD.
We talking about Andor, not Duce.
Are we?
nigga.
Sure, it's not Nick or it sounds like that.
Nick said, "I gave everything up for you, girl. You gonna leave in the middle of the night?" But I mean, nah, I respect Bix for this, for real, because she could have chose. It's not like she wants to leave him. Like y'all make it seem like Bix has been like, I've been trying to find a way out. Like I've been wanting to leave this nigga. Like no, I think it matters. The rebellion matters just as much to her as it does to Andor. Like he's been risking his life.
What's she doing?
She done been traumatized in so many ways, bro. So many ways, bro. Like she done been nearly raped. She done went through that machine with that doctor. She watched Brazo die right in front of her. Like, bro, like I mean, she's been on drugs. Come on, bro. Like she's been trauma. She done gave so much of herself to this rebellion too. It's like, well, shit. We gotta at least like we need to give all we can, so at least we know it was worth something. Like, bro, I understand exactly why she left. Like, it made perfect sense. Like, you're not going to continue to like the reason some of the motivation for what you've been doing so far is me, and I can see that I may be something that's going to hold you back from what you're supposed to be doing. And I've been told what you're supposed to be doing. I'm going to get out of the way so you can fulfill your mission. And it's not like she didn't say, I won't ever come back for you. She said, if she was willing, and she said, I'll be waiting for you. Like, if everything works out, I'll be waiting for you. Like, it's not like, I mean, we know that ain't going to happen, but still, it's just like.
My thing was, we know what she went through. I agree. But Mike, we don't know what she did after that. We know what Andy did, kid. He saved the fucking world. Where she at? She had a cantina somewhere getting hit on by some other nigga talking about where your husband at. He can ask him that now, like.
I'm not laughing at you, Nick. Look, so there's a few things. One, I definitely, absolutely respect what she did. I think we're leaving out the fact that Andor did not ask her anything. Yeah. He made the choice for her, which is hella fucked up. He said, we are going to leave. I'm done. So we're going to go be together somewhere. He didn't say, how do you feel about this?
Yep.
At all. So she said, I can't be the reason that you leave the rebellion. I think this goes back to, I think that she is a little bit force sensitive, at least. I think she's listening to what the Force healer told her, which is, she said, there's a place that you need to be. And the last thing the Force healer said is, maybe that place is with you. So there was that question that she left her with that Bix had to walk away and think about. And when she said, I'm choosing for the both of us, I'm choosing the rebellion, I think it completely makes sense. She was fucking it up for Cassian. She knows that he's meant to be something much bigger. She can't be what fucks that up. So yeah, when she says, I'll find you when you're done, yeah, I don't think she's going to appear in the next 3 episodes. So that ending for her part was just heartbreaking for him, because I don't think she was selfish in any way, shape, or form. She was the opposite of selfish. The selfish thing would have been for her to say, yeah, let's go try to go live our lives in peace while the entire rest of the galaxy is suffering. So I love this for her. I assumed that she was going to die because there's no mention of her in Rogue One. Mm-hmm. I think that this is such a much better way to have her leave the show. It's worse in terms of like, she chose to leave Andor and now Andor is heartbroken, but it's such it's better writing, in my opinion.
I don't disagree with that necessarily, but it's just that Andy lost a lot, bro. He lost his girl willing. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to lose her if she died, but like he's now.
She didn't lose nothing, Nick.
She ain't act like it. She drunk. She put roofies in his damn tea, Mike. She drugged his ass. We know because she kept on saying that, kid. Here, drink your tea. It'll help you go to sleep. You're dead. Sleep till I can creep away.
Yeah, because she didn't have the heart to break his heart to his face.
She had some club dancer that song that my mouth was jigging to. she living her best life, Mike. I'm telling you, she ain't doing shit.
But even Mike, My, I mean, you talking about like she didn't have the heart? No, she said he would convince her not to leave.
Well,
Like
that
she
part
knew,
too.
like she knew if I try to tell you face to face, like this is what is best, you're gonna convince me, and I'm gonna give in because she does care and love him. Like she's just gonna probably stay. Like all right, like let's make it work. But she knows she couldn't do that. Like it made perfect sense of why
Jay,
she did what
don't
she
this
did, bro.
I get what y'all saying, but don't that sound like some top shelf pimp player shit when you try to leave and you tell
No,
and you telling
nah,
the girl and you telling
nah,
the girl, listen,
nah. And this is
I'm gonna hold you back.
listen, no. And it's a thing.
You ain't
Niggas
ready.
get I've been struggling with this the last couple of months or so. When niggas be talking about something that's pimp shit. A pimp don't give a fuck what you say or what you do. Like I make the rules. I say what I want to say and do what the fuck I want to do. Like she actually did some shit that was like I'm gonna tell you I'm doing this for this specific reason, and this is what it's gonna be. Like you ever? I know you done dealt with you probably done dealt. I don't know. Been in a relationship where it's like, bro, we both want to be together, but this shit ain't working. It shit just it just ain't working. So let me make the decision for both of us, so we can go be happy elsewhere and make it work the way it needs to work. That's kind of what she was saying.
I'm dealing with it now, Jalen, and I'm trying to tell you, some of that shit sounds like some pimp shit because it sounds like manipulation disguised as vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? Because it sounds like she's saying like I'm sacrificing a lot within this too, but I just wish they would have had a conversation. That's all I'm wishing. Like if she would have left after saying like we agree to disagree and I'm gonna make my own decision, that's fine. But he didn't even get a chance to fight for her. You know what I'm saying?
He's already shown it. Yeah, right. He's already shown it multiple times that he will fight for her. Yes. There's no reason for them to have the conversation for him to fight.
We seen how he fought for her for Luthen. We seen how he fought for other shit.
No, I think that Cassian, if there's one thing that he's shown outside of being great at his job, is that he loves Bix, and Bix knows that. He loves her more than the rebellion. That's why she left. She was holding him back from being great. That's it. She needs him to be the person that the Force healer saw. And once again, I think she's Force sensitive. She sees something. She knows that he's a messenger and he has to complete this. So I feel like we could this is a sign of a great show. This is a sign of great writing because we clearly disagree, but it's not like it's a clear answer. I can understand Nick's side. I have a different opinion. So I think that this was an extremely well-written scene, but the show ends on them resurrecting the KX droid. I assume y'all remember K2SO from the movie. So Ken, did you care at all when they resurrected her or him or them? I don't know.
I'm glad they didn't wait and they just kind of ended it there. So did I care a lot? No, but it was cool to see that they kind of closed out that whole story arc.
It was a cool touch. It didn't like wow me or anything. It was just like, oh, that's pretty neat.
Hey, but Cassian wasn't fucking around. He was like, I don't need goggles, bro.
That was the whole thing I was going to mention. I was like, I love how Cassie got the itchiest trigger finger I ever seen in Star Wars history. He pointed that motherfucker. Everybody had to get behind him. Hold on. Oh, shit. It's about to happen. They had to get ready, too. He was ready. He was like, nigga, turn that motherfucker off so we can kill this motherfucker right now. Because I lost my biddy just earlier this morning. I want to shoot something.
Yeah,
that's the other thing.
Mike, if she ain't a Jedi by the Mandalorian movie, she ain't shit. That's all I'm trying to say.
No, but Nick, that's the other. But Nick, I mean, just because you brought it up too, just because you brought it up, that's another thing. Like, if he also understood, because if he didn't, he would have sat in that moment a little bit longer. When the rebellion came, when they started telling him like, "Hey, Captain Andor, we need you to go do something." He went and did it, and he was moving on. Like, all right, this is still a problem. She did this for this reason. I'm gonna continue to do this shit. He could have been like, man, fuck
I'm
this,
with Nick. What else do?
Nah, he could honestly be like, nah, bro, I ain't gonna do none of this shit. Like, bro, I'm going back to my. Like, I'm done with this shit. This shit took away my girl. Fuck this shit.
He had nothing else left, so yeah, he's gonna stay with the rebellion because there was nothing else for him. Like his mother's gone, his best friend's gone, his girl is gone. So he had no other choice but to be like, okay, well, I'm in it now. I'm fully in it. And I'm sure at some point, I agree with you, Jalen, at some point, he will probably sit down and think about this and be like, look, she left for the right reason. I get it.
Bit saw the
get why
writing
she
on the
did it.
wall.
Your ass finna die, motherfucker. I'm about to go.
And from how I remember, he went out in a quick, but in one of the worst ways ever.
Yes, he did. Ain't no 401k with the fucking, ain't no life insurance. With the
he ain't gonna need no little doctor like Will got with his poke ass leg. Shit, oh, he incinerated.
That whole planet is gone. But yeah, man, that's it for this one. Anybody else got anything else that I may have missed out or I may have left out that I didn't touch on?
Can't think of it.
Because they also showed that Melchi's there. Melchi was in Rogue One, and we see that Vel recognizes Cassian's gun, and then it cuts over to him. I thought that was a cool touch.
I didn't know who that was.
Damn.
I didn't recognize him. But is it somebody with the D driving or somebody in it? There was somebody else from Rogue One, I think they said was in it.
Yeah, the captain.
Driving, is
The captain
that
was
him?
giving him shit when he was trying to leave and come back.
Okay.
That guy was in Rogue One.
Okay.
So we can see that we're getting ramped up to going right into Rogue One. And yeah, man, I'm fucking excited, man. The show has not slipped, has not missed. And yeah. So are y'all, last question, are y'all excited for these last 3 episodes?
I definitely am. I may try to stay up all night or all day just so I can watch these last 3 episodes and then go into Rogue One. Because they say I want to see how seamless it is as far as that transition. But even though that's probably like a 6-hour night, whatever type of watching. But yeah, to me, if it ends the way I think it could end, and then how you lead it into Rogue One, this may be the best thing that Star Wars has ever done. And I'm saying that as a fan of Revenge of the Sith, a fan of. I am a fan, like, bro. It's between that and the other one that I'm a fan of. You're not gonna like, so I'm not even gonna say it. But I'm a fan of this series, this franchise. But this may be the best thing they ever done.
I was actually gonna do something similar, Nick, but I was gonna watch all of season 2 and then the movie once this concludes. But yeah, I'm really interested in seeing how they wrap this up, especially after the last 3 we just watched. So yeah, man, it's definitely peak.
What's the face?
Ken using peak.
I have kids, bro.
That shit made my camera move. Yeah, I'm excited for the end, man. I am. I ain't like y'all. I ain't gonna rewatch all of season 2 right now and do all that shit. Hell no. I may try to get to Rogue One later on in the week. But yeah, man, this has been a good ride. I really enjoy this, and yeah, man, yeah, this is one of the best things that I've done going back to watch Andor season 1, because I was definitely not going to do it at like I gave up on it, but I'm glad I did it. I'm very excited for the last batch.
Cool. I'm glad y'all are excited. I am 100% going to watch Rogue One after the 3 episode run because I want to see how seamless it is too. But yeah, I'm glad y'all are as excited as I am. So we will see y'all next week for the coverage of the final 3 episodes. And yeah, we will see y'all later. Peace.